Fresh off a dominant performance at Loretta Lynn's, sweeping all 6 motos and earning the Horizon Award, Trey Canard burst onto the pro scene with a statement, winning his Supercross debut and taking the 2008 title in his rookie season. That early success set the tone for a career defined by resilience and results. A 250 Supercross and Pro Motocross champion, a Motocross of Nations winner with Team USA, and a multiple-time 450 Supercross main event victor. He went bar to bar with legends like James Stewart and even took down Ryan Villapoto in his rookie year, proving he could stand with the sport's very best. Beyond the results, it was his goon riding fun, his Oklahoma roots, and his reputation as one of the nicest guys in the pits that made him a fan favorite. After delivering 2 championships for Honda, Trey stepped away from full-time racing, only to return in 2018 as their test rider, becoming a secret weapon in the team's dominance. Since then, his work has helped secure 11 AMA Supercross and Pro Motocross titles for Honda. And today, as the go-to test rider for the Lawrence brothers, he remains as competitive as ever, just in a different lane. Gypsy Tales welcomes back Trey Canard. I want to say a massive congratulations to the team at Fist Handwear, because starting right now, Fist is proud to be officially distributed in the US through a partnership with Parts Unlimited, bringing their gloves to riders all across the US. That means it is easier than ever to get your hands in a pair, no matter where you are. I've been banging on about how amazing Fist gloves are for the last 10 years, and now it's easier than ever for US riders to get a pair of their own. If you've heard me talk about them on the podcast before, but never tried a pair of your own, now there's no excuse. No matter what you ride, motocross, BMX, road, or even on the job, Fist has a glove designed for every condition, from blazing heat to icy cold. Apart from being the best performing gloves in the world, they also have a design for any flavor. From wild prints and bold graphics to collabs with some of the world's best athletes. And it doesn't just stop at gloves. Fist has moto socks, tees, hoodies, and hats, the full kit and caboodle. I've trusted Fist for over a decade, and I don't plan on changing. Do yourself a favor, join the Fist army today at fisthandwear.co, or head in to your local dealer and tell them that they need to start stocking Fist.
I met a Gypsy.
Club Local.
Yeah, you know what it is.
I love Ben. He's so funny.
Yeah, shout out to our boy Benny at Club Local. I got the run through a wall nasal strips. I'm gonna have to give you one of these.
What's going on there?
It's my partner in this company, Run Through a Wall. You know the smelling salts that like the boys do on the line and stuff. So we started doing smelling salts. And then we're an inhalants company. We want to make people breathe better. Yeah. So we got the nose strips and
Is it like menthol or something?
This one is lavender.
Whoa.
Yeah. So it's just like kind of gives you a little bit of, but it's got like the hard bit that fully just like opens your nostrils.
Yeah.
I wear them to sleep when I do like my cycles, like my zone
sick.
2. Yeah, they're good. So got that.
Keep you zenned out.
Got the electrolytes.
Dude.
So I was going to offer you some, but you weren't training today, so.
Yeah, I could probably still use them. I'm a sweater.
Yeah, I'll give you. Yeah, I don't have any of the Gypsy juice, but I got a few of these for you. I'll give them to you.
Yeah, sounds good.
Trey Canard.
What's up, man?
Dude, I'm so happy you're here, honestly.
Yeah, I'm stoked, man. You texted me maybe a month or so ago, and I was like, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, whenever I'm in California, and then here you are.
Yeah.
I listened to our last podcast, and I have listened to 3 shows ever that I've ever done. And I was driving to work last week when I thought we were doing the pod last week. So I was like listening to the pod, and I was like, I'll just listen to like half an hour of it until I on the way there. Yeah. And then you weren't coming. So I just kept listening to it, and then I drove home and I listened to the whole thing, and it was probably the 3rd time I've ever listened to a podcast. You made me sound great. I really appreciate the help that you did on that podcast.
Yeah, no, I kind of got a little bit of my own podcast going. It's like, I don't think you ever like your own voice. I don't know. You would know probably better than anybody, but I think I've maybe listened to like one, and it's been like in the background for sure.
I don't know that I don't like my voice. I think it's more that I don't like me. I think the voice is all right.
The voice is killing it. You're just yourself.
The voice is fine, but me, on the other hand. But yeah, I was listening to the pod and I'm like just waiting to cringe at the shit I say. And then I was like, Trey brings out like a good version of me. So I appreciate it. But it was cool. Like, I mean, just you've got such a wild story of just what you've been through in your life. And then I was watching, have you seen the documentary that a guy made on your career?
What was it?
Oh, you might have to look something up real quick. Just on YouTube, it's like the career of Trey Canard or something. I listened to this the other day as well. Bro, unbelievable, man. So this guy, he's been making a few documentaries on YouTube. And I think he did one for like Jeremy Martin the other day, which was cool. Yes, Trey Canard's incredible
Moto
story.
Fever.
Yeah, Moto Fever. So scroll down.
Oh, not looking so happy right there.
No, a bit of a rough day, that one.
Yeah.
So yeah, 10 months ago he made this.
No way.
Yeah, and it popped up and dude, it was really, really good. I kind of learned some stuff that I didn't actually know about you in that.
Oh, that one was terrible. I remember that.
Yeah, I didn't remember how many gnarly crashes that you had.
That one I thought I was done.
Oh, bro.
Yeah, I raced that night, no problem.
Like, look at this.
Yeah. Yeah, that sucks. This one was terrible too. That one wasn't even my fault.
And then this?
Oh, yeah. I thought I was going to be impelled.
Dude, sorry to bring up I didn't mean to just show like the full crash, highlight reel, but like even the, can you pause that for a sec? Even just, you went on a run, first 3 Supercross races of your career, crazy, beat Villapoto for a title, crazy. And then it wasn't just that, like I remember that, right? But I didn't remember the podium streak on the big bike when you were in the championship battle with Weimer, and then you went on, was it like 3 or 5 podiums in a row in the 450 class on debut? I'm like, dude, there's so much Trey Canard lore that we just like didn't even cover in the first one.
Yeah, it's that one was strange when I filled in for Shorty because I was like just far enough out of the championship against Weimer that it wasn't really like in jeopardy. You know, I think I was 12 points or something like that. And before that weekend of Anaheim too, I think actually I was more like 17 or 18 when the decision was made to ride the 450. So Kehoe was like, hey, you don't really got a shot. So like, why don't you come fill in for us? And at the time I was like 140 pounds. Like, you know, I was like, okay, I guess we'll just see how it goes. And I looped out the first round in Indy. Yeah. I remember I was battling. I had to go to the LCQ, I think. I was just all out of sorts. And then I was in like 20th battling with Chisholm. And I was like, it was like lap 10 or something, you know? And I'm like, what's going on? And I just tried to send it. And there was like this dragon back into 3 rollers. Yeah. I overjumped into the 3rd roller and just full whiskey throttled into a triple face. So all I was thinking is that I was just going to get catapulted. But thankfully the triple saved me. But Gothic J was my mechanic. Yeah. I don't know if you know Gothic J, but I think at the end of that little stint, I signed a jersey for him or something. It was like 1 loop out and 5 podiums or something like that.
Great stats.
Yeah.
Really good stats.
Yeah. So, that was an awesome opportunity for me. And I think I'm probably more of a 450 rider in ways. The aggressive side, maybe the 250 saved me from going too much, but the 450 suits, you know, I'm not heavy on the clutch, things like that. So the 450 was just easy for me to adapt to for whatever reason. So yeah, I'm pumped for that chance. It really kind of catapulted me into the 450 class, but also with Honda. So
yeah, it kind of set up your career in a pretty wild way, right? Like it doesn't happen nowadays. Like who was the last guy that mid East Coast or like West Coast swing, then jumps on the 450. I mean, like RJ did a couple rounds and did really well.
Yeah, RJ. I remember J Coop did maybe in 20. Yeah, maybe 23 or something. Was he full time in 23 or it wasn't full time until 24?
No, 24.
Yeah,
right?
so I think he did a handful of rounds in 23. Did pretty well, but yeah, it was kind of common ground in that time that guys would jump up and do whatever. But
I remember it was just a full thing.
Yeah.
And it was always such a, because the Supercross season as a fan in the past would kind of
go through that like
fizzle.
lull.
Yeah, you get like the mid-season fizzle, and that was always like a little bit of a light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah,
mid-season, but it just doesn't happen as much anymore.
Yeah, I remember Dungy did it.
Yeah,
and I think he might have got a podium or something. Dunge maybe in Minneapolis or something. But yeah, I thought, man, I'm gonna probably kill myself on this thing, but it went really well, and I learned a lot in the whole thing. And then for me, it was really good because I was a smaller guy, so to know that I was actually capable of competing on the 450, it was a really good switch for me because unfortunately, due to the rules, I was gonna have to move that next year regardless.
Yeah.
So whether I had a ride or not, and so it was kind of like a light at the end of the tunnel for me, like, hey, I can do this.
Yeah. Is there legit self-doubt there when you are even a champion on the 250 that like, bro, man, I just don't know if I can even ride this thing?
For sure. I mean, there were guys, I mean, I know GL Langston came around on the 450 and became a champion, but I mean, there was that huge lull for him, right? Like he was a 125 guy for KTM and then never really did anything, went back to the 250 or the 125 class at the time.
Yeah, it was so different back then.
Yeah, so I
Because
mean, there's just, I mean, guys like
Brownie,
Mike Brownie, you know, it's like, am I just going to be a 250 guy, you know? So there's that doubt. And I was never really the guy that was like, I'm awesome, you know, I can do this. It was more like, you know, even on my best days, the thought process was, you know, those guys probably had food poisoning or something like that. You know, it was never like, man, I rode really great today. It was more like, man, what did the other guys do to really mess it up? So, and that's just, you know, for whatever reason, my upbringing, default setting for me, default mode network, you know, just go straight to that kind of thinking. So I really needed those kind of glimpses of confidence to help me continue.
I was listening to JT and Townley. Have you heard any of the podcast stuff that they're doing?
No.
It's like Live Free Moto or something like
I've
that.
seen
It's like an Aussie
briefly,
channel.
Yeah,
I was listening to a clip this morning and they were kind of debating the Deegan 2 and 4 of racing Budds Creek on the 450.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to do it. So this is kind of a moot point. But JT's like, dude, there's no way he should do it. It would be stupid to do it, to jump in against the best dudes while they're just fully ripping. Last round, you've got nothing to kind of gain from it. And then BT is kind of playing the other side of the coin and saying, well, I think that he should 100% do it. He's been riding the 450 a lot, and it will give him a legitimate idea of just how gnarly this class is and just how much more he has to go.
Yeah.
There's points there both ways. Like, what do you think? As a guy who's lived it.
Yeah, there was times with Jett even that he was going to jump on early. I think in 23 he was going to maybe do Daytona. And I was kind of against it at that point. You know, I just thought, man, there's so much on the line for him, and he's going to be in the 450 class like in like
7 minutes,
2 minutes, 2 months or whatever it was before the first outdoors. So for me at that point, you know, it's kind of, I didn't think it was a great idea. He'd already raced Motocross of Nations.
Yeah.
So to me at that point, I didn't think there was a lot there. I think it's a little bit different for Haiden if he were to do that. I mean, he's got a really big points gap. I mean, I think he could probably learn a lot. And I think for him right now, I mean, I don't know him super well, but a lot of confidence isn't always a great thing to continue to sustain, you know, because at some point you get a little too lax and you start making mistakes. So, you know, for him to get another, you know, win or, you know, do really well at the last one versus, you know, say he goes to the 450 class and I don't know, I'll just throw out this number. I'm sure it'll get hate either way. Maybe he gets a fifth or something. You know, for him, I think that's probably more beneficial than to go do another 250 national.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I'm just not a huge fan of like that level of which he's had guys that have competed against him, right? Like Joe has really kind of come up these last few rounds, but to be that guy for so long, and you start to get relaxed, and that gets a little bit dangerous. So I think it's a good gauge for him, honestly. Yeah, I mean it's going to happen sooner or later. So.
Yeah, true. What do you think he would get, or how do you think he would do?
One of the things that makes me a little hesitant of it is it's the last round and everyone's in form. You know, it's different if it's, you know, like say for me jumping into East Coast Supercross, you're coming into ways a new series. Like everyone's a little bit informed, but you're going to this East Coast.
Yeah,
time
true.
Of year.
It's like a season within a season almost.
There's kind of this reset. It's everyone's adjusting. Everyone's going from California to Florida. There's all these different things happening. If you come in right now, I mean, everyone is, even the guys that aren't normally as fit are more fit than they're ever going to be at this point, just because they've simply
just compounding
raced into this.
Yeah.
And so I think it would be hard for him to compete with, say, a Jett or a Chase or Hunter at this point in the series. So yeah, and there's always, my whole thing with Jett racing Daytona is like you just open yourself up to a lot of risk that you weren't going to be in. And so for me, with my injury history, like that's a concern for me, because I mean, say you take out one of my femur breaks, I mean that's 6 months. 6 months of really true, solid, just base building, skill building that I didn't get, you know? And so, you know, you just throw one of those at that. It just, so to me, I guess to answer the question, to mitigate that risk, that's another angle to look at it. But skill set, risk level as far as points and, you know, you're at the end of the year, that kind of thing. I think there's a lot to learn there. But for them, I think just kind of mitigating the risk is probably the biggest assessment.
Man, I want to see it.
Yeah.
I want to see it. Especially at Budds Creek too. Like he's been to that track a bunch. And it doesn't seem like a bit of a gotcha track like Unadilla. Unadilla, to me, kind of dicey.
It sneaks up and grabs people all the time.
Pretty quick. Yeah. Pretty wild.
Yeah, there's some slow parts to Budds Creek too. So probably less trouble to get into at times. Yeah. It is hot, but that doesn't seem to be too big of an issue for him. Yeah, that's true. That's what I'm saying. It's not, you know, his body, everything seems to do well with heat. So for some guys, I don't think I was really a guy that did, even though it's really hot in Oklahoma, heat was always a difficult thing for me, but
it's probably got something to do with your skin pigmentation.
I mean, I would argue that. I always told people I was a little overweight as a kid. I'd say that I stretched out my sweat glands. So I lose water like crazy. So I think that's one thing that makes it hard. But yeah, I think for, if you look at all of the things to consider, I think there's a little bit more to gain if they feel like he can pull back, because it's hard if you're not the guy and you're used to being the guy to know when to shut it down, which I have seen something from him that I don't think I've seen in the years past, where he has pulled back a little bit at times.
Yeah, you think so?
Yeah, I mean, I think at Thunder Valley,
yeah, true.
When Chance was on, like he was really on. The first moto was more bike related, but the second moto, there was a point in that race where you could kind of see like he accepted, like, hey, he beat me today. And I think that's not a diss on him. I think that's maturity.
Yeah.
And I think you need that for the 450 class. Say Jett.
Jett did that at Millville, Moto 1.
Millville, also Hangtown. He I can't remember if he crashed or something, but he knew he knew it was really hot, and he knew that, hey, that these guys are on today. I'm probably not going to get him this moto. So he pulled back. So I think that's a real, like, huge level of maturity. So if he can bring that to the table and say he's in the fight for 10 minutes and then, the bike's not quite what it should be or whatever, if he can pull himself back, I think it's okay. But you open yourself up to risk anytime.
No matter what.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be pretty cool to see. I mean, I definitely think that there is a lot to gain from it, right? Like, I mean, you go out and because he's just not gonna win, you know. But I mean, like, let's say Jett goes down like Redbud, and he's 18th and Deegan whole shots. Like, dude, is there a world where he wins a moto like that? But or is everyone else too good? But
nah, I mean, Chase was incredible at Washougal. I mean,
he's always good there though.
Yeah, but I think he's in form right now. Like, so I think Jett could have a bad moto, but I think Hunter's in good form.
Yeah.
You know, obviously Washougal is not good for Hunter. I don't think it ever is. But Hunter's in good form. Chase is in good form. I mean, Eli is.
Yeah, Eli was ripping at Washougal
Buzz
too.
Creek, like, I mean, there's just, it's not just Jett, I don't think, for him. And I think it would be good for us fans if he would be battled, but I don't think it'd be good for him to go out and have immediate success. He almost, I think he needs a lull to kind of, to set him up for the next step.
Because, he's going to go into 250 Supercross next year, and it's probably not going to be like crazy difficult for him. I mean, not that this year was super easy for him, but I mean, you just have to think he just knows how to win that championship now, another year on the bike. So it's like, if you don't have some kind of, you know, something that humbles you in any way, like you said, and you just keep riding the wave, like you'd have to think going out and getting fifth and dealing with the barrage of online bullshit that would happen, even though fifth in your debut 450 race is amazingly good. Fans would not have that perspective. And he's in the category where 50% of people are going to say he's the best in the world no matter what happens. 50% of people are going to say that he sucks no matter what happens. So it's like, inevitably, people are going to talk shit. And that would have to do something to fuel the fire over.
Well, I'm sure they'd make a great YouTube video about it, and it would be worth it anyway. But yeah, I don't know. I think I'm really curious to see what he does on a 450 as far as his riding, because I think someone like Jett's riding really
translates.
It really translates. You know, there's certain guys like I don't think that was the case for James. You know, James set the world on fire on the 125 class. And then he went to 250, and I mean, he came out pretty strong in Supercross, but it wasn't what everyone was expecting. And same with Ricky. I mean, look at Ricky's first year. I mean, it was a disaster in Supercross. I mean, he won the championship in Motocross, but there was a huge like transition.
Learning,
So I'm just curious. I know those guys are smart. Like I admire what they've done. I think they've done a really good job as far as, you know, how they've transitioned into everything. Like, I just think they've done good. So I can't imagine that they're going to just throw him on a 450 and he's going to just wing it, you know. But I don't think that his riding right now on the 250, I don't think it's going to take some work to translate that in the racing environment. I'm sure he can rip at home or whatever, but it's going to take some learning, and he'll do it. Like, I really think he will, but my personal opinion, I don't think that you're going to throw him out there at Budds Creek, and I don't think he's going to win. But I've been wrong before.
It's funny, in the pod that we did last time, one of the things I said, and I was kind of like smiling listening to it, I said, I think that the level of commitment that the Lawrence family made to their technical ability on the motorcycle and the level that they stay contained when they ride is so far beyond what anybody else in the sport is doing. And I was like, I think people are years behind the Lawrence brothers on that front. And it kind of turned out to be a little bit true. I was like,
just pat yourself in the back a little bit.
I was like, oh, let's go.
Yeah.
I mean, pretty obvious, like, but I don't know if people, like, I was putting so much emphasis on that when I watched them ride, you know, because it's just, you just don't see it. Like, it wasn't the same in your day, you know, and a guy like Tomac, not the same in his day. And James, like, you look at technique has evolved since then.
Yeah.
But like the Lawrence boys were on the cutting edge, like on the forefront of technique, and they stayed so disciplined and so controlled. And the results kind of speak for themselves. And Haiden isn't doing that level. He's not that committed in that way. I think that his bike skill is through the roof.
Yeah.
Like what he can do on a motorcycle and the crashes he doesn't have. And like, so there's technical ability and there's like commitment to technique and then there's bike skill.
Yeah.
They're two different things. I think Deegan's off the charts in terms of bike skill.
Yeah.
But the commitment to staying in a box and staying perfect the way that Jett does, the way that Hunter does, that I think is kind of what you're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think, for me, I grew up like crazy disciplined to technique, and it didn't really change for me. But I think in my era, it became more about training.
Yeah.
It was like, we started to get more data and, we had training peaks, all these things starting to happen that started to elevate that side of it. And then I think it went too far that way.
For sure.
I mean, it became like all that, and guys were like not even thinking about, the technique side of it. So, and so I think what Darren and the boys have done as far as their commitment to that is when everything was so sideways here, as far as training and all that, they were still doing what got them to this point. I think a lot of people, you do the kind of the monotonous figure eight and whatever else, and then at some point you kind of go, okay, cool, like
I'm here now.
I did that, and I'm just gonna focus on this. Where their commitment to that is really impressive, and I think having Darren there every single day, and guys like Michael Byrne, calling him out every day. What are you doing there? Like your foot's over here. Like,
and
get it back
freedom.
Right. Yeah,
because I can't remember who it was. I think it was Dino. When Dino did the pod and he spent the time at Alden's, there's none of that.
Yeah,
it's you get up, you do your cycle, you do your motos, you do your gym, and it's like if you want to work on a section. Jalik said the same thing. He was struggling in the whoops, and then just couldn't do the work. They have actually structured their program to where they have complete freedom. Yeah. Like if Jett sucks at left-hand turns, which he doesn't, it's like if you're sucking in this area, then it's like, hold the phone.
Yeah.
Nothing else matters. We're getting this dialed. I don't care what anybody says. And they have that freedom. Not a lot of guys have that level of freedom.
Yeah, and I don't see the pit board's out and everything like that, but I'm trying to think of a story, but I think one of the times I was down there testing, it was like, we were getting ready to test. I was all geared up. I usually hop on the bike after one of them, after they've done their warm up, get a couple laps just to base in, and Hunter's just riding. I'm like, is he gonna stop? And they're like, oh no, he's doing a 40. And I was like, oh okay, well I'll just watch him. I'll
just chill.
And it was smart because he wanted to see where the bike was that morning in a real race environment. But the fact that there was not really a huge emphasis on times and dropping and getting slower, there was more of like, hey, I was working on this and it was getting better. And hey, what'd you do here? Oh, well, I was doing this and I think I was trying to. So I guess what I'm saying is that the emphasis is on getting better. It's not necessarily, hey, you dropped off this 1/10 of a second. What are you doing? There's always an emphasis on learning. And that was something that was just terribly off in my time. It was like, you dropped a second, you need to go do 10 push-ups or something. I don't know, something stupid like that. Where
just the meathead generation.
Yeah, it's like, and I think, not to diss Ricky, but that whole thing started that, right? Because Ricky was like, hey, he works harder than everybody, and that's why he won. And maybe that's a part of it, but I don't think that's everything. And so I think that's where it got lost in translation a little bit as we really took that and ran with it.
Yeah, we just looked at the best guy, and then it was like, okay, what's the best guy doing? And it became a one-size-fits-all. It was a onesie that everybody put on. Like, no one was wearing a fitted clothing. It was just, here's a onesie, and it's Ricky Carmichael's.
Yeah, and our gear was the same, too. It was all, baggy and whatever.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and kind of back to the technique versus bike skill, I think they're paired. But, when I hear people say that Ricky wasn't talented or that, he didn't have bike skill, I just think that is like the
crazy.
The
talk.
craziest things I've ever heard.
Yeah.
And I don't think Ricky himself says that. I think he says something more like, I wasn't the most skilled.
Yes. Yeah, if you go on Kevin Windham, Ricky Carmichael in
Right.
Glamis, Kevin Wyndham's going to look better.
Right.
The same way as Ken Roxon. I literally went to Glamis with Ken Roxon and Ryan Dungey.
Yeah.
And if you took somebody that didn't know, had never watched a Supercross race, and you were like, that guy has won way more than that guy, everyone would be like, there's no way.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I think all of us that are at that level have some level of bike skill. How much we've honed it with the technical side, just differs.
Yeah.
But I think I obviously can see that Haiden has refined himself as well. I think there's just kind of two different schools of thought of doing it. I think he's probably more on the Tomac kind of hammer kind of side than say the Lawrences who, you grew up riding Lommel, places like that. It's like there's really no choice but to become efficient. And so I think that's the formation of all that's just different. But I think that Haiden will come more into that side just because you kind of have to on the 450 unless you're just strong like Eli, who can kind of get away with some things. But I think he'll come more that way.
I've said this to Brian multiple times, like when we've had conversations about technique. I think part of it is that he just gets bored riding normal.
Yeah.
Like, honestly,
Yeah.
the amount of riding that kid has done for his entire life, if you told him to just do the Jett thing every day, he would be bored shitless.
Yeah.
So I think, honestly, so much of the crazy stuff that he's doing when you're seeing him do his motos at the farm and when you're watching the YouTube channel, that is purely because he is bored.
Yeah.
And he has to just start doing some crazy shit to just make his days enjoyable because he's just done that much riding over his entire life.
Yeah.
And so that's always been kind of in the back of my mind. And I've said that to Brian as well. I'm like, dude, there's probably an element of like, this kid's just crazy bored right now. So he's riding like a psychopath just to see what he can get away with. And he's making it interesting. So part of me is also like, I think when push comes to shove and when he has to focus in, he probably will be able to kind of snap his fingers and do it,
I think he will be. And I think a lot of it's just confidence. I mean, he's got a ton of confidence. You can see it. And that, I think it can be translated as arrogance, and maybe some of it is a little bit. I don't know. I don't know him well enough to make any kind of judgment. But
you got TikTok?
I just got one, dude. I got 100 followers.
Go follow Trey Canard.
I've
Pull it up on screen.
Dude.
Let's get this boy going.
Yeah, dude. I actually got a dance on TikTok.
Oh, let's go.
Yeah, I made it. Yeah.
That's unreal. Yeah, look, if you follow Haiden on TikTok, there's some
I don't think I do.
Pretty wild
I've
viewing
seen,
in there.
Part of the reason I got the TikTok was for the Haiden Deegan TikToks,
so
actually.
Good. Bro, I don't know. I'm reserving judge. I'm not going to judge it. It's wild though. Where's the dance? Yeah, follow.
It might just be on the Instagram. I was trying to boost it. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Maybe just hit back to the Insta and let's watch this thing. It's funny though. You talk about talent. Yeah, there he is, right at the top. Show me this dance. Follow me on TikTok, y'all. Click that sound for us. Down the bottom there. This is so.
Trying to reach a younger demographic. So to do that, I'm going to create this dance. Also, you need something like this. Okay? All right, here we go.
Yeah, the arm cross. That really does it.
Okay, do that dance and repost this. Try to blow my TikTok up.
Bro, you need some chains. You need Trey. You need like a massive diamond cross.
Hey, I've seen some of the TikToks.
You need a Lambo. What do you?
Dude.
That's how you blow up on TikTok.
Is that it? I need a Lambo?
That's what you
think
gotta
I
do.
could rent one, or I actually got to go buy it?
You buy one, bro. You're a bloody champion, motocross champion.
I'm pretty tight.
I saw what Jett just got paid. You were all on that. Bro.
I wish. Well, that's why I don't get paid anymore.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, sorry, Trey. You've been great at testing, but dude, you know, one more thing on the talent thing before I forget. So Danny Rick's been doing some riding. Finally got him on a big bike. he's been riding a 250, and the guy, like, there's something. It's just convinced me now. Like, he's super slow, obviously, right?
Yeah.
Because he doesn't have like confidence.
Yeah.
And,
The
but
eyes
he's
aren't
like,
keeping up yet. Yeah.
well, he's doing the jumps, he's doing all that. But you get him in the turn, right? Bowl turn. Just powers the entire way around. And I'm like, dude, I can't do that. Like, what the? There is actual, like, if you're that talented at something in racing and you've gone that far, like, there's a thing that you have that I don't have.
Yeah.
And now I'm convinced of it because I'm making all of the wrong choices. I'm trying my best. I'm powering 3/4 of the way.
And I've been going to the track
around the turn
twice a week for 10 years or whatever. Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah.
and it's just like I followed him through a few of these turns and it was just like the smoothest power. Oh, dude, I got the video. I'll show you the video real quick. But I was just like, bro, this is actually insane. That, and like, you don't have to tell him that. It's just the default. I wonder if this is the video. No, that's me squidding it up. Yeah, like, watch this turn, bro, and tell me if that's like just a racer that has racing talent. I couldn't believe it, man.
Dude, the throttle delivery is perfect.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, no coaching. That is called talent. 3 more weeks on the bike, and he is 100% better than me.
I don't know. There's something that your computing speed.
That's exactly what it
it
is.
is. I mean,
yeah.
And I think you're born with a lot of that. I mean,
100%.
Like, I've probably made this comment too many times, and I don't want to blow smoke up too many people, but dude, Jett's computing speed is crazy, and I think that's probably, like you say, Haiden probably gets bored. They're just able to process so fast.
Yeah.
You know, like I always ask Jett, like I've probably asked him that 3 or 4 times. So where are you looking? You know, because like, is he looking that far ahead, or is it happening so quickly that it just, as he comes to it, it just adapts? And
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's crazy, dude. And when I saw that, I've always said the same thing, right? Like, I'm so interested in like the neurological version of this, right? Because I've said it a million times. We all feel the same thing, right?
Yeah.
So me, Jett, James, you, what happens when you get down a straightaway and you're coming into a turn? What happens? You go, shit, got to hit the brakes, right?
Yeah.
And then you have to slow down before you can speed up.
Yep.
That's just a brain thing. We're on the same track, the same bike, and everyone has this different internal clock and this different internal speed that they're processing. It's all eye speed. It's all brain power.
Yep.
And you're either born with it or you're not. And like I was saying to Danny at the end of the ride, I was just like, dude, it's crazy how good you're going to be when you have the feeling of the motorcycle.
Yeah.
Because like the difference is like I can seat bounce a jump and be like a little bit off angle and I know exactly what's going to happen. And, you know, I don't have to be like rigid and tight in terms of like controlling the motorcycle. I can like relax. I can hold the throttle on. I'm not really getting arm pump. He's getting a lot of arm pump, and it's because he's
Just
like really
grip. Yeah.
But in terms of the processing and what he's doing, he's better than me.
Yeah.
And it's like you're born with that.
Yeah.
And yeah, just seeing that and in the context, second time he's ever rode a big bike on a motocross track.
Yeah, that what struck me about that video is how he opens the throttle,
Just
like perfectly. Like there was no hesitation, and then he continued with it. Yeah, it's wild,
bro.
Yeah.
I just couldn't believe it, eh?
Yeah.
And I was like, man, I try. You know, I try and I try and I try, and it's just not the same. You know, and like even I followed him into one of the turns and I watched where he got on the throttle. And I was like, I'm at the same speed. I'm doing everything the same. And I just couldn't crack the throttle at the same time. I had to wait. Like there was something going on with me where I had to wait. And I was just like, that's it. It is what it is. You're born with it. It's not me. It's
white flag.
Yeah, I'm done.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just, there is something that is going on, you know? And like, yeah, you look at the greats, man, like Jett, James, Ricky. And so I went, when I did the 100 hours with Cole Davies thing, I stayed at Ricky's the next day. We flew to Colorado, and the team all flew out early. So I kind of like had this day, and then Ricky's like, just come hang. We're going to go ride. I didn't ride. I was pretty over it by this point after my week.
Just hang out.
Yeah. But watching Ricky ride, I, again, took some videos on my phone, and just like the level of throttle. Like, do you remember watching him ride?
Oh, yeah, dude.
As soon as the bike was up and straight,
yeah, and before even,
bro, he was so heavy on the throttle, and like that style is so different to what it is now. But it was mind blowing to see him in that context. Pretty much just him on it was his friend's track at his house, and just to be like that close to him in his 40s and just everywhere. Yeah. And it's just crazy what some people are born with, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I think you train it too, you know? I think my computing power has slowed, you know, whether it's to head traumas or just not doing it every day, you know? Like, it's like Ricky Bobby, you know, whenever after his crash and he's like, are those the other cars, you know? It's kind of like sometimes I'm at the Supercross track and stuff's happening pretty quick.
Yeah, it's coming at me real quick.
So I think you can train it. I think you can kind of lose it in a way, but I think you can also continue to get it back. I mean, there's times kind of middle in Supercross series where I'm like, wow, I'm still pretty good at this, you know? So I think you can be born with it for sure. I think you have to invest in it. And I mean, all the good guys have, you know, they're all putting in the time. So
I think a lot of it, and then in the conversations I've had with DR about it, is like he'd say, I look at, he was saying that there was one race that he went to, and maybe there was like a F2 driver that was in FP1, and like they have to rotate so many of these drivers. So he watched the practice, and he was like, it was the worst thing I could have ever done, because it was the first time in my life that I ever looked at it and went, I can't do that.
Yeah.
From the outside in, but he's like, I just have done this thing my entire life. Yep. And there has to be a thing where when your brain is developing, like there's a neuroscience term that neurons that fire together wire together.
Yep. Neuroplasticity.
Yeah. And it's just like you're just making these same neurons fire over and over and over and over. And you're just strengthening these connections between the neurons in your brain that have to do with this speed processing. And you can just strengthen these connections over years and years. And, you know, like for me, I was a guy that like I didn't really get to ride much when I was a kid, you know, like it was a once a week kind of thing. And then it was racing, and there wasn't any real like getting better. Yeah. It was like going to race, being shit scared the entire time. And
Let's do it again next weekend.
But I think that there's also something to that, you know, and like that's why, oh man, who's a kid that we've seen go pro in motocross that hasn't started on a 50 and just done Loretta's their entire, like lived on the motorcycle.
Yeah, in this day and age too, like if they're not at the track, they're on a Suron or they're on a Stasic, or I mean, so you're building that neuro pathway over and over and over again. Yeah, that 100%.
What do you think about while we're on the topic? Actually, what do you think about prediction? Like, how much of it is also prediction? Because let's talk about like Jorge Prado, right? So he's obviously got all of the pathways required to go super fast on a dirt bike, right? But he's on this new motorcycle. He's getting beat by like privateers now, which is crazy to even think. But is it that once you get to this level, you need to know, like you almost need to know what the motorcycle's going to do before you do it? And if you don't have that feeling, then you just can't go fast because the level of like predictability. Yeah. Because I imagine I imagine like if we go back to the Lawrences at A1, like wildly unpredictable motorcycle
Yep.
for the boys, and they were dog shit compared to the
Yep.
end of the season, right?
Yep.
And it's like same motorcycle, different setup. The setup would mean that they don't know what it's going to do at
Yeah.
any given moment, and then that lack of predictability just
Yep.
pulls you back from. Is that kind of what's going on? Do you think?
For Jorge,
Well, just in general,
general.
but like
Yeah,
Jorge's
I mean-
probably a good example of it at the moment.
I mean, that's my job, right? Is
Make it predictable.
it was trying to eliminate all of those things that could create that lack of comfort with the bike that keeps you pulled back. You know, like let's say for the Whoops example, the thing steps out on you 2 or 3 times the same way. You don't trust it, and so what do you do when you don't trust it? You don't come in as fast.
That's
maybe-
what I personally do.
Well, it's what we do too. It just
Yeah.
doesn't look like it.
Yeah.
Or you go, okay, I just need to go faster. Say you do that 2 times and then it steps out again. And so at that point, you really go, okay, I don't know what this thing's doing. Like something's not right. And then that ruins kind of everything. So yeah, that's my job. I really, and for the general public and everything, I want them to hop on a motorcycle and feel so comfortable that they're not even thinking about it. They're just having fun. For Jorge, I feel really bad for him, honestly,
No,
because
it's crazy, eh?
I think was thrown into a bit of a wildfire. I think there was way too much expectation on his motocross season. This is a different sport over here. I mean, if you talk to anyone that's like, let's say, talk to Ryan Dungey after he raced Lommel in 2012 or whatever it was. I mean, it was terrible for him. Like he had a terrible time. It's just not the same. So to put that expectation on Jorge that he's going to come dominate everybody on a new team, on new tracks, after a terrible Supercross season, after a shoulder injury, like there's too many variables there that are just stacked up against him. And then compound that with all of the pressure of like, well, what's happening with Jorge? You know, what's wrong with him? He's not doing right. Oh, the team's this, that. It's just, to me, it's like, man, it is just a terrible situation that he's in. I think he can come out of it, but I just feel bad for him because I feel like the cards were against him from day one. I mean, this sounds like really bad of me to say, but when I kept hearing about how he was going to crush everyone in outdoors, I was just going like, just wait, because after he spends 6-7 months on a Supercross track and then tries to go back to outdoors, and then you take our race format, which is crazy, you know. I remember the first time that I did Motocross of Nations, or the only time, I guess. I remember I did the first free practice, and I did like 2.
Where was it?
It was at Colorado. So I kind of knew the track anyway.
Yeah.
It was a little different. In like 10 or 12 minutes, I had already done my qualifying lap, and they're like, hey, you've got like 30 minutes left. And I'm like, well, what am I going to do? They're like, I don't know, just go ride, I guess. Okay.
That's insane.
And that
eh?
was on Saturday, you know, and then
Yeah.
there was I think there might have been a whole nother practice or something. Then I had a whole nother qualifying race. And then Sunday morning, it's like, we got to the track an hour later than we're used to. And then we had a breakfast. It was like, there was just all of this time. It just felt like an eternity, other than when you had to do I was MX2, so I did Moto 1, Moto 2. That was crazy. But it's just 2 different worlds. So to put any expectation on him to come ride a muddy track at 8:30 a.m. with the sun in your eyes.
Not even the same track, is it, too?
Not even the same track that
Yeah.
he'd ridden, say Paula. It's not even close. It's
Yeah.
muddy. There's people everywhere. The lines are terrible. And then he's going to do another one of those in 45 minutes, and then he's going to go racing. And then on top of that, he's got to learn to set up his bike with the group of people he doesn't know super well. He's been on a Austrian chassis for his whole life. So I don't know. That I just think
Works rule.
works rule. I mean, there's so many things that you throw in this pot, right? That are against him. You know, I don't say that to like
No, I think you're
against
you're
him. I'm more
in a sense.
defending
Yeah,
him and
yeah.
saying, hey, it's unfair for everyone to put the pressure on him that was on him. I think he'll come around. I think unofficially another rider there next year will elevate the team in a way. You know, Chase
Who's that?
Chase demands a
Wait,
lot.
what?
You know? Breaking. Chase demands a lot.
You heard it here first, guys. Chase Sexton to KTM.
Right here on Gypsy Tells. You heard it here. But you know, he demanded a lot from us, and we stepped up for him. He demanded a lot of KTM. You know, there was different parts on that bike that have never been on that bike. So I can't imagine.
Literally.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
I can't imagine that it's going to be different at Kawasaki. You know, I think that they'll rise to the occasion. But we'll see. I mean, that's what makes racing so fun is all these variables that we sit around and talk about.
Yeah.
So,
Man, next year, wild.
yeah.
When was the last time there was an off season like this?
I don't know. Even when like Coop went to KTM or something like that,
Yeah, it just didn't feel like
didn't
this,
feel
did
that
it?
big a deal. I mean, the Tomac thing to Cowie was, or I'm sorry, to Yamaha
Star.
was kind of big, but it was kind of like, oh, he's going to reinvent himself. The Sexton one is kind of strange. Like, it seems like he's riding that bike pretty well and seems happy. And so, yeah, the mix-ups are different this time around for sure.
This episode of the podcast is brought to you by Brunt Workwear, and I have got the brand new Marin boot here to show you guys right now. Over the last couple of years, I just wanted to get rid of doing the sneaker thing. They're not waterproof. They got super dirty, and I would end up with track shoes. I wanted to be able to rock some boots. I just made a lot more sense to wear boots. So I've switched to wearing boots, and now I've switched to wearing these Brunt boots. There's a super short break-in period, and they're lightweight, they're waterproof, they're slip and oil resistant, they're heat resistant, and they're electrical hazard rated. A lot of you guys that listen to this podcast, you're on job sites, you run machinery, and you actually really need and test all of these features every single day. So now you can finally have durable work boots that are as comfortable out of the box as your sneakers, and over 500,000 customers agree. Brunt didn't just make a durable work boot, they've reinvented comfort for the hardest workers out there. For a limited time only, our listeners get $10 off at Brunt by using the code GYPSYGANG at checkout. Just head to bruntworkwear.com and use the code GYPSYGANG and you are all set. And even better, Brunt will let you try this work boot risk-free on the job site. After you purchase, they're going to ask you where you heard about them. So please support our show by telling them that the Gypsy Gang sent you. Yeah, insane. What do you make of Chase going to Cowie? Do you ride all of the stock bikes as a test rider?
I mean, I think it's pretty common knowledge that we all do,
Yeah,
right?
okay,
yeah. I mean, that's part of, I would assume, everyone's process.
Yeah, I know
in
other guys
development.
do, but
Yeah.
I just wasn't sure.
Yeah. So yeah.
So you've got an idea of like what that bike is and how it feels.
Yeah.
And what do you like? It's a massive change from KTM.
From KTM for sure. Yeah.
Maybe not the craziest change from Honda.
Yeah, I mean, all the Japanese bikes definitely have a
Similar characteristic.
character, and I mean, they're all relatively close in a way. So even like down to the mathematics of
Millimeter.
it all, you know, it's like it's
Yeah.
very, very close. Where in the KTM group is like surprisingly close too, but they all feel different, and so I don't know. I don't think for me the production bikes are close enough. I think that if your personnel is right, you'll figure it out. You know, I think in times in the past in the Honda, our bike wasn't winning shootouts in a lot of ways, and Jett was perfect on it in the outdoors. So I think if your team works hard, they put their heads together. You have your engineers helping on that side of things that can really give you valuable information. I think if everyone puts their heads together, it's really up to the people doing it. Yeah, we have certain hangups with production rules, but if you put in the hours, I think you can figure it out.
Yeah, well, I think you guys are a pretty prime example of that, right? Like A1, the bike looked so bad.
Yeah.
And that's not a reflection of Honda. That's a reflection of these two Muppets went and spent all off season in completely different countries, which was awesome for them. But
Yeah.
I don't know that they expected to be in the hole that they were with the bike. So you have that, right? And then by the end of the season, the thing is just unreal.
Yeah, overall pretty happy right now too. So
And then Parla was nowhere near as bad as what the bike looked like at A1.
Yep.
But I mean, the bike wasn't amazing. Like you could definitely tell that Jett was like really riding around the bike, and
Yep.
Hunter was as well.
Yep.
I mean, to both be on the podium was wild. But dude, Moto 2 at Millville, Hunter Lawrence's bike might have been the best handling motorcycle I've ever seen in my entire life, bar none.
Yeah.
That was insane, dude.
Yeah, it's this last off season was tough.
You're just like, don't take me there.
And it was scary.
It was dark.
It was I think what happened is we had this new bike and we all hopped on it and we were like, wow, it's so much better.
Were you wearing rose-colored glasses while you were riding it?
Yes and no.
Yeah.
I to this day, I mean, I've heard, a couple people say, oh, the 24 is better than, I think there's a privateer that's like back on 24 or something.
I think the 25 is better, personally.
For me, it's hands down,
Yeah.
not even close.
Especially when you put a set of those race cups in it. You guys would obviously have different ones.
Yeah, it
But-
kicks it out a little bit.
bro.
Yeah.
Like, game changer,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah.
I've got a production 450 at the moment.
Yep.
And rode it, like, I've never really done, like, back-to-backing, right? But I rode it just completely stock. Then the track was way worse. It was, like, hours later by the time we got these cups in it. Bike was 1,000%
Yeah.
better, and it turned into like a really, really, really nice bike with just that one change.
Yeah.
And so I think that the 25 is better, for at least for my own feelings,
For me, our whole development team, we've got test riders in the US, test riders in Japan. I mean, across the board, it was like
Everyone.
it was not
yeah.
even a question,
Yeah.
right? So I think we all hopped on it. Maybe we expected too much out of it.
Yeah.
I think what we expected, in my own perception, is that, hey, no problem. The boys go do all their things. Like, we'll have this thing sorted in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
And on top of that, we had new Showa parts. We probably had, I think I went through all of them. It must have been 11 new Showa parts.
And is that like mid valves?
It's,
Are we,
obviously I can't get too
Yeah.
far into it, but suspension components.
So stuff for inside the suspension.
Yeah, different theory, different ideas.
Okay.
Hey, we had this complaint from last year. Hey, we have this new part to try to help that. And
Yeah.
so we had a lot of new theory, right? New bike, new theory. To me, it was like not enough time. And we didn't, in my opinion, we didn't stop soon enough with some of the new parts. Because some of them weren't ready, right? Like, hey, thank you. This is great. I think the theory's there. Let's continue to develop that. Come back to us later. I think would have been a more proper response. I think we stayed a little too long, tried a little too hard on some things. And then I think it just got us lost.
Yeah.
And so I think that's what you saw at Anaheim, was kind of a bike that was lost. But I mean, I think, and like my comment about a race team, that if your race team is good enough, they can
Yes.
respond to that.
Yes.
And so I mean, that's not to like sit here and toot my horn. I'm really tooting the horn of
Well, it's
our
a
team,
group.
and I think that's why we've done well, is everyone is really
Yeah.
pulled in the same direction.
Yeah, and that's why I kind of brought that up, because it's such a great example, like, honestly, dude, like, can you go to the This Is Lawrence and play the Spring Creek, the Millville? I think it's just type This Is Lawrence Spring Creek. Fast forward to Moto 2. Hunter's, honestly, dude, like, his bike was dead straight down that hill every single lap of that moto. Like, it was phenomenal, man. And I spoke to him on the phone after it, and like, it was just like a offhand comment
Yeah.
about it, and he said that's the best I've ever felt
Yeah.
on a bike. He's
Yeah,
like, I
Moto
could
1
do
was insane too.
literally anything, Yeah, this is it, dude. Also, actually, before we go to that, go to the first. Go to the first moto. Yeah. Go a little bit forward. Do you watch these?
I haven't seen one. No,
Really?
no, I need to get in it.
Bro, you're missing.
Especially
You're
since I'm a
busy. You got
YouTube guy.
kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, go to this first moto. Music selection has just been on point. Listen to Jett. Just fast forward like the tiniest bit. Yeah, a little bit more. Listen to the rev that he gives Prado, bro, on lap 2 of a moto. It is so disrespectful, dude. Oh, I was losing it. So yeah, you see, look how far behind Jett is. Next lap, he comes around, dude, and the rev tune, it's like he's lapping Prado, but it's the second lap, bro. So disrespectful. Oh, I was like, bro, that's a little bit mean. Go like, just click the next button, like just the tiniest little bit. Oh, yeah, back. There we go. What? Dude. Oh, third lap of a national and just rev tuning the poor guy. Give him a break, dude. He's trying. So yeah, go second moto. I think it's a little bit forward. Bro, it was so funny. I couldn't believe it. Have you ever seen anyone rev a
Typically
tune?
not from Jett. I mean, that's kind of Coop's thing, right? Like, he's always the rever, but he must have got a little too much dirt in the face.
Yeah, he was just like, dude, get out of my way. You're not in the race, all right?
And he threw it away on their first lap, too.
The music's been on point, too.
Dude, Tom is awesome, too.
Oh, isn't he?
Yeah, he's the best.
So good. Yeah, I just want to get your thoughts on a couple of the bike shots. But yeah, I mean, it was even to me it looked like Jett's fork was a little soft this moto in comparison. And Hunter just fully nailed the setup. Like whatever they decided to do.
They didn't make a change for Hunter for Moto 2.
They did?
Jett, they did.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I love nerding out on bikes with you, Trey.
Yeah. It's fun, man.
But yeah, just like the down the hill shots when they come up, man, you just look at.
It's so fun when they work good too, man. It's like,
and this track was prepped so well.
Yeah. I think some guys were unhappy about it in the morning, but to me, this is what a national should be.
Well, this is what it was like. Yeah, look at this down this hill, man. Like Hunter's bike, just so straight, man, and so balanced. Yeah, the whole like win on Sunday, sell on Monday.
Yeah.
Like this is a video where I watch and I'm like, oh, dude, kind of
Honda would be
want
pretty
a Honda if I could make it like that. That's good if you want to pause that. But yeah,
watch these.
Bro, it's unreal. Great shots of the bike from your perspective too. But yeah, I mean, I was honestly just blown away. And again, like I bring that up because it's like you just see at Parlor, it just wasn't like that, you know? So there's a group of you guys that are tasked with making this motorcycle better. And it's got to come from both of the riders. But then it's also the team, it's the suspension techs, it's the chassis guys, it's the test riders. Like there's a lot of people that come together to give that result because what's that, round 7 or 8, you know? So it's like in 8 weeks, you go from Hunter being like, this not the best to then I'm talking to him and he's like, that was the best bike.
Yeah.
That's the best I've ever ridden that motorcycle. So it's possible. And that's why, you know, when I do see the Prado thing, he's getting whole shots. So it's like there's obviously speed inside of that motor somewhere. Is it his riding style? Like starts is one thing, right? You can't say that a bike's rideable just because of your ability to get a start on it. I think that's a fair
historically
assessment.
a very good starter. So,
but in terms of getting that bike to handle, like, I mean, there's the proof that if you have the right group of people and if there's the right communication, like you can make a lot of progress, but it looks like they're regressing, you know?
Yeah, man. I mean, the first thing I say is, it always is funny to me when I hear someone say, I developed that bike. You know, I've heard that a couple times. And I just think, No, you didn't.
Yeah.
Because there's so many people. I mean,
Mm.
to get to this point in the season, it's not a suspension guy. It's not a test rider.
It's
It's
not
not
you,
Dazzy.
it's
It's
not
not the
Jett, yeah.
boys. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just there's so many minds that have come together to get to this point. Because, I'll be honest, like March, April it wasn't good. Like it was like, dude, I mean, 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. at the farm. It was like, yeah,
Really?
it was just like all day, So, it takes a village 100%. And I'm just grateful to be a part of this team because if everyone's not pulling in the same direction and say even your rider is not willing to take any of the blame or, say your rider's doesn't trust you, there's so many factors that go into not moving forward.
Mm.
And it just takes a lot of people working together. And our team's just done really well at that,
Has the team gotten better over the years since you've been involved in that way, or has it
100%.
always been like that with you guys?
No, I mean, when I was racing, it was very. I mean, you had some years some guys were on KT or KYB, some guys were on Showa. I mean, there was very much internal battles.
Bro, that would be
You know,
borderline
it was-
impossible.
It was hard. And then in that time too, we weren't as involved with Japan. I mean, they did their normal, Monday afternoon call, whatever, but it was more like, hey, this is how American Honda did this week. And so we didn't really have that support like we do today, and, I respect these Japanese guys so much. I mean, it's so funny because we're like, is the chassis doing this? Like, let's just start guessing. We'll start throwing spaghetti at a wall for 4 days,
yeah,
and
they're just all drinking tea, like looking at the tea leaves.
yeah. But they're like, let's go to this diagram, and it's like it's very. They know
Analytical.
motorcycles.
Yeah.
We're very much like the old horse whisperer, that's like, rub mud on the horse's left eye and speak 3 times and do a double backflip, and then he'll be broke forever. They're like more of the neuroscience. Hey, this is what the horse is thinking. So to have, I guess, go back to your question, was the team like this when I was racing or over the years? It's totally evolved differently. And I think a part of that is being involved in the production side. I think that adds to the race side very, very well, and vice versa. It's like a give and take. Also with MXGP.
Because they're like, they can be years ahead of you guys.
Right.
Even.
Right. And so there's just, I don't know. I'm really grateful for the position that I'm in, and it doesn't always stay this way. I mean, Japanese structure is changing all the time. It's like one guy's at a position for 4 years, and then he does a good job at it, and then he's like somewhere else.
So people don't know that, right?
Yeah.
So like, there's a thing in Japanese culture around promotions.
Yeah.
And so it's just like, you spend these years, and then you've just got like this constant. It's a very cool thing about their culture. But it's not like there's a dude that's worked in the suspension department at HRC for 40 years.
Yeah.
It's like, no, that guy is now the CMO
He's
of
like
lawnmowers.
robotics.
Yeah.
He doesn't even seen a motorcycle in forever, which is great. But also, it's like
Makes it tough.
every time you work on a motorcycle, you're like, please be around next cycle. You've done such a good job. So I think we've got a really strong group there right now. And I hope that continues because I really trust them all, and our race team trusts them all. And I think, I could be wrong. I think they trust us. And so it's been a very good benefit to us. Hopefully it's been a big benefit to them, and it's made it really enjoyable, to see, one time I was over there in the Kumamoto factory, was a lot of developments done there, and it was Jetson Donut Day. So every employee at Kumamoto factory got a little prepackaged donut. I mean, that's like thousands of donuts. And I went into one of the cafeterias, and there's like, Chase's bike was there from the championship that year. Jett's bike was there. Hunter's bike was there. And memorabilia. And it's just,
Yeah, they live it.
So cool to see them so excited.
Yeah.
You know, and they want to be a part of American motocross, and they take a lot of pride in that. So I'm really, you know, there's a handful of guys that are on that team right now that I'm like just so pumped to like be a part of that.
Yeah, it must be cool. And I mean, even me, right? Like after I was talking to Hunter that day, we were just chatting about the whole thing, and he's like, man, if people only knew the hours of testing, and like even like I do know them, and we do talk, and I didn't have any idea of the scope. Like, and that's what Hunter was saying. He's like, dude, we have done like 10-hour days for like 9 days in a row sometimes to just make the bike better. And it's like, no shit, you know, and when you see it, but I think sometimes as fans, when you're just watching it on the weekends, and these guys, they all make it look so good. And and those two especially make it look so effortless with the way that they ride the motorcycle. You just kind of can get roped into assuming that it's easy.
Yeah.
And it's what, they're just that good.
Yeah.
But it's like behind the scenes, they've just gone so deep, so dark. They've gone to the depths. You've all gone to the depths, you know?
I mean, there was probably 2 or 3 weeks this spring where, you know, it was like riding with Hunter. Jett wasn't quite riding yet. Then I was hopping on Chance's bike, and then I was on Joe's bike, and it was like, it was wild. It was like some really long days. And then you find yourself sometimes, you're like, you know, we just rode and tested for like so many hours, and I'm so tired and I'm so hot, and we are nowhere. It's
really?
Like, yeah. I mean, there's sometimes you just go completely backwards, you know? So I'm really grateful to our team because they've done a super good job at reeling that back in, you know, looking at where we went, trying to decide where to go from there. And that's the hardest part because there's so many shims you can move around. There's a million different engine mount combos and linkages and spring rates and preloads and different oils. I mean, it's just endless the amount of things you can change. And so to be able to sort through that, like, I just give our guys like so much praise. They've done awesome.
So in that, like following that thought, do you have a process that you've honed for yourself over these last couple of years when you're trying to set a bike up?
Yeah, it's probably
asking for a friend.
It's been interesting because, you know, when I was racing, there was something I was looking for. And I think part of what I do now is help decipher what people are looking for. But I don't particularly know what I'm looking for anymore. Because I'm riding Joe's bike, I'm riding Chance's bike, I'm riding Jett and Hunter's setup. It's like I'm riding a production bike. So now for me, it's more about generally what is good, what is really bad. You make sure that never ends up on the bike. And then one thing that's been really helpful with our process is, you know, say Jett and Hunter ride the bike and they come in and they just go like, dude, this sucks. It's then my job to go, this is why it sucks. And
so
then go, hey, do you agree with that? You know, hey, I know you said this about this. Are you saying the same thing? And then the techs, the crew chief, everyone can go like, okay, so we think we understand what sucks now, and we think we know where to go from here. And that's my job. You know, obviously you get to a certain point where it becomes more fine tuning, and then that's totally up to the riders because different feels, different ideas about what works good, things like that. I'm done trying to come up with a setting that's like is a one-time
catch-all.
Yeah. Hey, you know, this is the setting. You know, because it's just in my experience, it almost never happens. I mean, there's been like 2 or 3 times that I can remember in my 6-7 years where it was like, oh yeah, that was sick, you know, but it's really rare. So I wouldn't say I've given up that. Like I still want to pride in my work, the rider to hop on and go like, yeah, that was good. But I've nearly given up that idea and just gone like, hey, how do we get these guys where they want to be? You know, whether that's something I totally disagree with, setting wise, fuel wise, theory wise, I just don't care anymore. It's more like, you know, there's no rebound shims. I don't care. Like, did he like it? Like,
Yeah.
you know, that's what I've kind of come to, and I think that's what it's got to be. The only right answer is the one that works, and so.
And that's like a very egoless decision on your behalf.
You've got to drop that. And some guys have to have an ego. Like, I mess with our suspension guys. One of my good friends is Ricky Gilmore. He's a KYB tech, and he's so fiery.
He's such a legend.
He's
dude.
awesome.
Yeah.
Have you seen his Spidey stuff, by the way?
No.
Yeah, he used to go to I don't know if he wants me saying this, but he used to go to Comic-Con as Spider-Man. It was sick, but
No way.
yeah,
That is awesome.
I'll have to show you some pictures. It's epic.
That's so funny.
But I always told him when he was at Honda, I'm like, dude, you're doing the right things. We just got to like try to rein back the passion a little bit, because there's this guy, there's that guy, and they got to answer to this guy. And that's why they're against you right now, because you want this thing to work good. They're looking at it from other different angles.
Yeah, you both want the same thing, but you're coming at it from a different place.
Yeah, but you can't lose that passion. Like for Ricky, like don't lose that passion. Be the guy that like believes in what you're doing, because you've got to have that confidence, and the rider's got to look at you and say, hey, the bike's doing this. What do we do? And you got to be able to say, hey, we're going 2 clicks this way, and they've go, okay, do it. So there's certain positions that you almost need an ego, you need the passion, but you've got to be able to pull that back and just say, hey, man, like, how do we get there? Because at the end of the day, after the race day, when we're all standing on the podium together,
no one cares.
No one cares.
Yeah.
No one cares if the janitor came up with a setting. Like, bring him up here too. You know, like we just want to do well.
Yeah. So I give you my bike, right? And I say, help me make this thing good. What's your like ding 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 checklist that is like your best practice to like figure out how to get this thing in a window?
Yeah. So firstly, I would just ride it, and I would kind of make my own assessment. Kind of go, okay, I did this. I can kind of compare that to what I rode before. Where is it from my baseline? You know, okay, I hit this bump. It did that differently. I come to you and I'd say, hey, what's your complaint? You know, what do you want to try to fix? And you might say something like, I don't know, the back stiff. And then I would just have to break that down a little bit. Like, okay, what does the back stiff means? You know, I say, can you show me on the track a specific bump where the back feels stiff? And then you go, hey, yeah, that after that tabletop, I'm coming to that turn. I let off the brakes, and it just does this thing where it kind of like goes like this. And then from there, you break down what's actually happening. And then for me, and you know, the suspension guy, the techs listen to this, the crew chief, everyone's listening to this. And they can call me out on this if the process isn't right. But this is how it goes in my head. After everyone listens to that information, then we get together and
say right around that bump.
Dazzy's like, there's full of it, you know, the bike's fine. But you know, this guy, you know, say Darren says, it's just too soft, you know, like I think that change you made 2 weeks ago, I think it sucks, you know. And you know, say the suspension guy, our guy Derek Atkinson, he says, nope, that's not it. That's not it. And then maybe the crew chief goes, well, remember we had this idea and we all thought this at this race. And then I chime in and go like, I rode that and that was terrible, you know? And so from a team standpoint, you know, that's how it would work. We'd all kind of agree on a direction, and then you kind of go that direction for a second. And if that's not working, you reassess and try again. For your general guy, though, I think, you know, if you say, hey, that bump, it does this thing, I'll ride it and I'll watch it, and then we'll start playing, you know, because it could be a stiff thing. It could be a soft thing. I mean, there's just so many different variables. But my biggest goal if I'm working with you is to get you to tell me what it's doing. That's the hardest part. Especially something like Supercross whoops. I mean, you're like 3-4 in, and it's like to be able to keep up with that, like
know what it's
know what's
doing.
actually happening.
Yeah.
And then your prefrontal cortex goes offline because you're scared. You know, you're in fight or flight mode. So to be able to like break down what the rear did then gets really difficult. Yeah. So for me, just to say, like, try to get that out of you to get direction. So, what's something that you struggle with, just generally?
I guess like, so I think I don't know, I guess me, but maybe other people, like, so to put this in like, maybe so something can take something away from this conversation. I feel like people often get very confused with the difference between a bike feeling harsh because it's too soft and a bike feeling harsh because it's too stiff.
Yeah.
So like, I have a video on my phone. This is a good example. So when I rode, I was like, dude, this back, I kind of knew in my head though, I was like, oh yeah, this is definitely too soft because I knew the shock.
Yep.
But it was showing up. The symptom of it
Yep.
was that this was really hard. So like, watch this. This is actually a good example. It's a wrong shock in this bike. So I wonder if you'd be able to see it. Not the face, Jason.
Yeah, I mean, perfect example. I mean, it's like nearly past mid-stroke and it's just not working.
Yeah. So again, so I got good suspension that I put in my 250. So then I put the 250 suspension in the 450. Not working. But I think that's at least for me at times, or even now. Like, so I have the stock. It's full Frankenstein at the moment, but like the forks are the right forks.
Yep.
And even that, I'm like, I think this is soft, but it presents as harsh.
Yeah.
So like, how do you even differentiate that without looking at the bike? Because obviously when you look at a video, you can kind of see it.
Yeah, and the video is deceiving sometimes. I mean, I have so many people come up to me and they say, "Hey, look, I'm using full stroke," and I'm like, "Yeah, it's what you're supposed to do."
Yeah.
You know, they're like, you know, I want like this much room in my fork, you know, and
you're like, why?
Why?
Yeah.
You know, you use all that stroke. It's what you need. And now, if you're living right there, and it's, you know, for your stiff comment, right? Like if you got this much stroke left and you're living right here, it's gonna feel terrible. So I think just having a trained eye is like so important, because you can get lost
in the sauce.
But I mean, my biggest advice to anybody is just to play. You know, there's a lot of time spent on these production settings, like hours and hours and hours and hours. So to take it to your normal suspension guy and he just throws a setting in it, like for him to nail that right away, it's probably not better than what you've got production wise. You know, my advice is just throw in your spring rate. That's probably a better way to do it. You know, if you're a 210-pound guy, go up on some spring rates. But there's a lot of time invested from a lot of different riders to get that setting where it is. And so it's hard to beat the production setting in a lot of ways.
I'm honestly finding that more and more these days.
Yeah.
Like and it's so funny because my dad, when I was a kid, say the same shit.
Yeah.
Just be like, just get new tires, mate. New tires is all you need.
Yeah.
And he would say the same thing. He's like, dude, Honda spent millions of dollars
Literally
on this motorcycle.
Yeah.
You're probably not going to make it better, dude.
Yeah.
Like you as a B 17-year-old rider is probably not going to outsmart all these dudes.
Yep.
It's like the thing we probably don't want to hear as riders. Like we probably want a magic pill.
Yeah.
But yeah, those settings are probably right.
And it's fun too, right? Like
it is fun.
Just doing it all is fun. And that's probably what keeps enthusiasts like coming back. But I mean, my advice would just ride your stock bike. Like before you do anything, ride it and just say, hey, this is what I think it's doing. I think, you know, let's say, hey, when I exit the turns, the front wants to climb out or the front wants to go that way. What's happening? I would say that's probably a squat. especially on a production setting. I don't
So too much sag.
too much. Basically the shock is going to move too much under acceleration, which is a compression issue.
Okay.
Which you can change a lot of different
And that
ways.
would be like a low speed.
It would be more of a low speed compression thing. Now, can you do that with the adjuster itself? External clicks, maybe. But I guess where I was going with this is just play. You know, if you're feeling something, have your buddy go to the side of the track and just film you. Go turn 4 clicks this way, and then film it again and see if you, one, if you notice anything, and then 2, like visually, what did you see? Because that's, to me, that's where it gets fun. As long as you don't lose where your clickers were in the beginning, and mess them all up and they're all in bad spots. But just playing, I mean, that's how you learn to feel a bike is, you know, change the rebound, like go change fork position. Yeah, I mean, change your sag. I mean, sag is a funny thing to me because, you know, it's preload on the spring, right? So you have your spring and then you have to tighten it down a certain amount. And, you know, let's say you have 5 millimeters of preload on a spring, and one guy who's 130 gets, maybe he gets, you know, 101 sag reading. And then the guy that's 180, he gets, you know, 106. But the preload on the spring is the same. So that the character of that spring is going to be kind of very similar just because of the preload on it.
Yeah.
So when people say, oh, your sag's got to be at 105, it's not really like a
Hard rule.
great thing to say because the preload on that spring is going to change. And you might need a different spring rate. Like it's not a magic number is what I'm saying. You know,
Yeah.
there's certain variables that are kind of in this whole process that aren't so black and white. So I would say mess with things by yourself and try to discover what you want, because I think a lot of people just don't know.
Yeah, and a lot of people, and like myself included, I mean, I haven't really spent, like, honestly, that much time. You know, you kind of, I would say this would be correct for most average riders, right? Like, you go out to the track, you do a moto, the bike's kind of shit. Couple clickers, you go do another moto, you come back, you either put it back or maybe do a couple more. Like, that's really not figuring much out.
Yeah.
You know, and there's so much, at least for me, fatigue that takes place.
Yeah.
You know, like there's a lot that kind of, well, there's a lot you're not learning and there's a lot you're not doing. You're just making these like really minor adjustments. And I think there's like, I've done one day where I was testing with Mark from REP and Kaz actually.
Yeah.
And that I did like a day at Glen Helen where it was like, I did a bunch of fork changes and I did some like oil height changes, and that was the most I'd really ever done.
Yeah.
And then there was a day where I literally just put a screwdriver in my boot and I just went up and down the hill.
Yep.
Like because I was struggling coming down the hill.
Yep.
And I was just doing a lot of changes. But dude, I've been riding 30 years
Yeah.
twice. I did that twice.
Yep.
In my, you know?
Yep.
So it's like, are we really learning that much? So it's like, I think, yeah, what you're saying is so right in that get your stock bike, change a lot of stuff and like make notes and like really actually learn, because a lot of us, myself included, like we're just not really doing the work, you know?
Yeah, and I think the more information you can have, say you send it to Mark, right? I like Mark, worked with him at
he's
ATM.
awesome,
He's
eh?
just a good dude.
He's the best.
But
Has he ever done a DJ set for you?
dude, it's sick.
He goes so hard, eh?
It's so electric. But I mean, if you called Mark and just said, "Hey, my bike sucks. Can you fix it?" He'd go like, "Well, you know, I've got a setting for a 2016 CRF450, and I can give it a try." Like,
Yeah.
but I mean, for him to have no information and you just to send him your stuff and expect it to come back and just be awesome,
Yeah.
is unfair to him.
Yeah.
Right. And unfair to yourself too, because you're paying money for this stuff. So, you know, if you can say, man, I really don't like my bike, and just say, hey, you know, once the track's settled, it's not going to change that much. You know, I'm not going to go out this and do clicker changes in the mud when everything's still moving around and weird. But once it's settled, I'm going to spend 30 minutes in this one rough section that I hate and I can't stand my bike in. and I'm just going to play. And then after I'd make these changes and I've watched some video, I'm going to take some notes. Now call Mark and say, hey, Mark, I hate my bike. It sucks. This is what I've tried.
Yeah.
This is what helped. This is what I don't know about. What do you think? And that at least gives him kind of go like, oh, okay, well, you know, he had his compression clicker at 18. You know, that's this from stock, you know, and then you can kind of like work on it from there. And not that you want to start to become an expert and telling Mark what to do, but you can at least give him some information. And that's all my job as a test rider is. You know, there was a point where and I'm still trying to learn a lot about suspension, different systems and all these different things just because I think it's fun.
Yeah, so like okay, think about like a computer, right? So there's like a front end interface, which is what you use. Yeah. And then there's the code behind it. Right. And it's like you don't need to know how to code to use the front end interface, but you can tell if the front end is shit. Yep. So it's like you're an expert at the front end. Yeah. Doesn't necessarily mean you need to learn to code. You could probably benefit from knowing the process and like, is that kind of analogous?
You know, there was a time when I was trying to learn about pressure balance and like all this stuff that's like,
you what now?
It's pretty complicated, right? And you know, I suggest certain things, but now it's like I still want to know the changes. I want to know what happened, so that in future reference I can go, hey, you know, remember that one change we made to the BCV, and you know, it did this, and it felt like this. I don't know if this is that, but this is that same feeling. And so that's kind of where I'm trying to limit my knowledge. I don't want to tell them what to do to the BCV. I just want to say, hey, remember that? Oh, yeah, I remember that. We did that. That's the same kind of feeling that I get, and I don't like it. Is there any way you can change that? And so even me, I'm kind of like trying to be done a little bit with like telling them what shims to do and things like that. I'm more like, hey, this is what I think that it feels like. You guys are the experts. Maybe I hear an idea and I go, oh, I don't think so. But I'm trying to be done being the suspension guy. I'm not the suspension guy. Yeah. And even when I talk to our guy Derek and our 250 guy Brandon, our crew chiefs, I kind of go, hey, I preface it always as like, hey, I don't know what I'm talking about, but could it be this? And so I guess the whole point of what I'm saying right now is just to say you don't have to be an expert on what to do, but if you can give some bit of information to someone that does know what they're doing, I think it can go a long ways.
For sure. It is a rewarding process.
It's fun.
Yeah. And it's cool. Like you can hear your passion for it, you know. Have you struggled with like the love of riding at all? Like since you've stopped riding, has there been ebbs and flows with how much you've enjoyed riding in general?
It's been harder with kids for sure. Okay. You know, when I'm home, I work on my own bikes, and so like this time of year, it's like 400 degrees, and like all the tracks are muddy to start the day. So it's kind of like, oh man, to like get up at like 6 a.m., make sure the bike is good, like have peace of mind that everything is good, go do like a muddy warm up, go over the bike, refuel, like do all the motos. It's just hard to ride at a high level. And then, you know, you get home at 3 o'clock and spend an hour washing it. Meanwhile, my wife's like, be with the kids, I'm over it. So that's made it a little more difficult to like enjoy it. But man, I love it. Yeah, I rode 2 days ago on a weekend at a local track, and I just had so much fun.
That's awesome. I put up a post the other day on my Instagram, and I kind of was like literally what you said. Like the last 12 months, like I've had such a up and down with riding. Like I'm just around it all the time. Yeah. I've got like 5 bikes in my shed. Now I'm living at the beach, and it's like kind of far from the tracks, and then I go to the track and I kind of suck. And 12 months ago we had the warehouse burned down, and literally I just had to like rebuild everything in my life from zero. And then it's like I go to the track, it's an hour to get there, then I get there, I ride, I suck. I'm not fit. I'm not enjoying it. I do 2 20-minute rides and then I'm tired. And then I go home and I'm in traffic and then I have to wash it. And it is tough. And yeah, I feel that exact same sentiment. But like just lately, I've kind of just found my way back. I'm enjoying it.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm getting a little bit better. And I think I've been thinking about it a lot because like the post, like it just blew up. Like, and I was reading the comments of everyday people like me. And I have like a lot more advantages than the regular dude, even when it comes to riding. Like I'm so lucky what I have access to and what have in my life to ride. And it's hard for me.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't have kids, and it's like, so even for me, I'm kind of struggling, and I've kind of just got it all laid out for me in some ways more than the average guy, you know, and like reading the comments and like seeing people go through the same thing and seeing people that have like situations that are way tougher than mine, and there was so much like positivity around trying to ride, and it was like, I don't know, it was almost like refreshing and therapeutic to like see people kind of going through it, and then to hear that you're going through, you know, like you battle with the same thing, you know, but there is something there. There's a there that's worth all of this, you know, and I think after thinking about it for a few days, I mean, I think part of what makes riding special is that it is hard.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say. I one of the most valuable lessons I think I've taken from Darren, and I give Darren maybe too much praise. I don't know. I really respect
he's pretty
him.
awesome.
Yeah, I just respect him a lot for what he's done for the team, but also for his boys. I mean, Tate's, Tate, and it's a laugh from whatever, but Tate lives one of the best lives you could live.
Killing it.
It's like, but even Tate has responsibilities, and Tate's supposed to do things. And I appreciate what Daz has done with his boys in that way. Like he has allowed them to have fun, allowed them to, go explore, be themselves individually, but he expects like a level of effort and an appreciation. And I think what I've learned from that is he's constantly wanting to learn and get better. And I think in my racing career, it was very black and white. Like I was either at the top or I wasn't. I was at the top and I was great, or I was at the less than that and I sucked. What I've seen from him is there's so much value in the process and learning. And I hope to carry that with my own family, my son and my daughter and myself, because it's so much more fun. Like, for me, I went to the track Saturday. I had a later night. We had a date night, and I had to be up at like 5:30 to make it to this track, and I didn't get that much sleep, and I'm packing the bike and packing a lunch and then driving an hour and a half, and there's so much value in that, just the discipline of all that, and it just makes it worth it at the end of the day. Like I was thinking about this. I laid in bed that night and I was cooked. It was like it was a big day. I got home, washed my bike, and it was like straight to the park with my kids.
Just the lion's den.
It just like wide open, you know. But I was like, what a blessing it is to like go to sleep tired. How many people are like sitting in their beds just like stuck on their phones because they didn't expend enough energy that day.
Yeah.
So to like go like kind of work hard for fun is
true way.
Yeah, it's like you lay in bed and go like, I did something today, you know. And I think that's part of motocross, right? Like there's sometimes you don't have that much fun riding, but you're with your friends, you're with your family, It's like I met Gregory, the guy that helps with my YouTube, and a couple other friends out there, and I saw people, and it was just, I don't know what the other alternative for me to do on a Saturday was. It probably looked a lot like, me like mowing my grass or doing something, but I connected with people I hadn't seen in like 5 years. The track ended up being epic. I learned something about my bike that day. I had a lot of fun. Like I don't know, there was 2 sessions I felt like incredible. My last session I felt like trash. um, I don't know. There's just so much about the process, and so much of my life and my faith is like I'm trying to go like, how am I growing as a human being? How what am I doing that is helping me evolve?
Mm.
And to me, that's it's a better perspective to have for me personally.
Yeah, I honestly couldn't agree more. And I think, I've been trying to enjoy. It's probably like it's a bit of a cop out because I feel like I've gotten a little bit better over time. Like I enjoy the progress, and there were comments of like you shouldn't care, but there's this weird irony with riding to where you have to ride good to enjoy it. But if you ride bad, you don't want to ride.
Yeah.
So there's like this real middle ground that you like. There's a sweet spot that you should try and operate in, right? But I mean, if you take the riding away, like you're right. I always go with my friends. It's something I always do with my brother. Like we always try and ride on a Saturday morning. We did it in Australia. We do it in America. Like it's just kind of a thing.
Yep.
But there's also, I'm trying to connect a lot more with the process of working on my bikes.
Yeah.
I still don't do air filters, but that's fine. But yeah, the process of like getting the bike ready, and especially the process of washing the bike.
Yeah,
like
that's hard.
At least to me, there's like a meditative quality in that. It's funny. Danny was like he's like, I'll give you a hand. I'm like, I felt like my dad. I was like, don't worry about it. I'll do it. You'll do a shit job. But my phone rang.
I'll just have to redo it after you do it anyway.
Literally. But then like my phone rang. So he's like out there. He's like, oh, this is like kind of therapeutic. And I'm like, 100%.
Yeah.
Like you kind of can't listen to music. It's sort of too loud. You can't be on your phone. Like it's a thing you have to do all the way. You can't half wash try and wash a bike with your hand in your phone. It's not going to work. And it's like, just enjoying that process. And like, there is value in that. And then it's made me like, I got a stationary bike. And so like, I'm starting to try and do a little bit more on the stationary bike. And it's like, there's a level of accountability that you have to have to yourself to be semi-fit to ride the bike. So there's like these fringe benefits that come from the overall process. It's not kind of just about the bike, and it's not just about the riding. Like there's something wholesome to the whole project. This podcast is brought to you by our new electrolyte partner, SOTA Fuel. If you've been listening to the show for a while, you would know that I'm pretty big on the whole hydration thing. Every single day, I make sure I drink water mixed with SOTA Fuel electrolyte mix. SOTA Fuel is packed with all 6 essential electrolytes and key vitamins to help keep you hydrated and performing at your best. With up to 5 times more effective hydration than water alone, you'll stay energized and focused throughout your ride. Plus, there's no added sugar, so you won't experience those dreaded spikes or sugar crashes. As far as a supplement for riding dirt bikes, SOTA Fuel is your friend on and off the track. It helps reduce arm pump, muscle fatigues, keeps you hydrated to avoid headaches, and provides sustained energy to keep you sharp. SOTA Fuel is not only effective, but it's also one of the cleanest and most complete formulas on the market, with 2 to 3 times the electrolytes compared to industry standard, and a cost per gram that is twice as affordable. Lightweight, portable sachets are perfect. Throw in your gear bag, throw in your toiletries bag, throw in your work bag. They've got 4 great flavors, but my personal favorite is this bad boy right here. Gypsy juice. This is our very own flavor. I think it is by far the best flavor out of the 4. Go to sotafuel.com right now or click the link in the description. I would love for you guys to try it.
Yeah, and I've been asked a couple times, like, dude, why are you testing? Like, why are you like? I remember,
you're a podcast star, bro.
Like,
you're a YouTuber.
But it's like, it was like the sun's in your face and on Supercross track and you've been riding all day. Like, why? I'm like, I think I was made to like contribute to something. Like our society is and this is getting like maybe in the weeds, but
No, go there, dude. Go there.
it's so much about consuming, like just consume what's going to make me happy. I need to watch this show. I don't like that show. It's like, what am I really doing that's like giving something to the world? And to me, that's like the most fulfilling. Like after you've washed your bike and you did a good job and you see it in your garage, like, do you look at it and go
all
like,
the time.
sick?
Yeah.
And to me, that's like what hard work and, for me to like be involved with what I'm doing, it's like I look back and when we do a good job, even when we do a bad job, it's like we did it. We were doing something. We weren't just like consuming. So I don't know, that to me, that's like the most fulfilling thing ever, is to like contribute to something. Like,
Yeah.
And it's not always fun, but to me, it's fulfilling.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think progress is addictive.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
And I think, I don't know, I'm not sure how healthy my relationship is with progress at times in my life. Like maybe it's the wrong goalpost to aim at times, but I do like progress.
Yeah.
And I do like to get better at things. But I think I'm trying to just get better at doing things for the right reasons.
Yeah.
Like you can do this, like this podcast, for example. There's a good reason to do this and there's a bad reason to do this. You can still want to progress and you can still like try and get better. So it's like the progress isn't the problem. It's like why you're trying to get the progress. And I think that I'm trying to progress at the things that I have in my life, but be cognizant of why I want that progress to begin with,
Yep. Yeah. And one way of progressing is a lot of fun, because it's not really about winning or losing. It's about how was I better than I was yesterday. And the other part of doing it's just like, what can I get from this? And so for me, like that, did I get better this week? Was I a better test rider? Like, was I a better test rider today than I was 6 years ago? Like, I look back and go like, yeah, I feel bad for the first couple of years because I don't know that I did a great job.
That's funny.
So yeah, I mean, that's just the most fulfilling for me. And that's what I found. And that's why I'll probably continue to do this for a minute at least.
Yeah. So life's good in general across the board. You've got the YouTube channel, you got the podcast that you're doing, a couple kids.
Yeah, it's fun. Like we're not blowing it out of the water with the YouTube. I might have started a little too late into that game, but
hey, I like it. I watch it.
And that's what keeps me doing it. People are paying attention, and mostly I'm having fun. Like I've got Greg here with me on this trip, and it's like, dude, it's just a load of fun. And then the podcast, All for One. I've had a coffee shop owner guest on there, and it's like I think it's got like 600 views or something, but it was one of my favorite ones because I know his story, and then just to hear him unpack that, like, to me,
and probably in a much different way
than I expected.
Than you've heard it
100%. Yeah. And I don't know. I really like that aspect because so many people have incredible stories to tell, and you just never hear it. Like, I never would have heard his story had I not done this podcast with him. So I really like that side of it, and hopefully it grows to be sustainable, and I get better at it. I don't know that I'm a great podcast host, but it's fun, and I really enjoy that. So that's been actually really fulfilling for me, and Greg's made it easy, and it's fun to have humor in some of the YouTube videos.
Yeah, that's what I've enjoyed.
Yeah,
like there's been some real nuggets of like some of the tutorial, like the cornering stuff that you've done, but it's just like fun and funny and good to watch,
Yeah, it's kind of like, my time in racing was like that very serious, like train, like what'd you do this week? Train.
Yeah.
And so it's fun for me to like
open up,
and kind of be myself in a way, because I mean that's kind of the true me is kind of, I don't know, goofy, or I don't know, silly. I don't know what you call it, but yeah, it's fun to have an outlet to do that, and then to see people enjoy it, like that's really cool. So
yeah, I mean, I would do this for free. Like that's the secret. I just don't want any of my sponsors to hear. I would fully do this. I love this. Like I've spent all day. I was just working this morning and stress and booking flights and this and that and planning and your life gets out of control.
Yeah.
This is like the best.
Yeah.
And there's so much good that just this.
Yeah.
And it's like if no one listens to it, that doesn't matter. I just love this part of the process, and I've just got to hear so many awesome stories, and there's just it helps me. I feel like it helps other people. Like we're lucky that it's at scale now, but I mean, I think that it's a very worthwhile thing to do in your circumstance. You know what I mean? Like you kind of want it to be sustainable, and you want it to get to like a certain level. But I mean, the dirty little secret is like it's just a really good thing to do if you're doing it for the right reasons. Again, for the right reasons,
Yeah, it was cool. I had I don't know if you know who Hunter Cordell is.
Yeah, fitness. He's like a fitness guy.
Yeah, him and his wife, Devin Cordell. They're I think the term is content creators, but TikTok and Instagram and but he had an interest in riding.
Ethan was there for that one.
Ethan was here. Kind of got it all set up. Yeah. But even just I didn't know Hunter really well, but just to sit down and talk to him for an hour and a half, and just hear about what they do and the struggles, and dude, it's awesome. And it's a bummer that you don't always have good conversations like that without a microphone. But for me, it's like, dude, what a cool chance to share people's lives, and then for them to go oh, I thought the Cordells were this, but then they watch Hunter and they're like, oh, they're like normal people with these really cool stories, and I love that. So I hope I can keep doing it in a way, and that I'll keep trying to get guests the best that I can, but I really enjoy it. So and it is a little time consuming, but it's not. It hasn't been unsustainable for me yet. With what I'm doing, I mean, I'm pretty busy in general, but thankfully it's been pretty doable.
Yeah. What have you learned about parenting in the 2 years since I've spoke to you last?
Oh man, that I don't know what I'm doing. It's I'm trying to soak it in, man. My son's gonna be 4, and I just don't know how it happened. I keep hearing people oh yeah, my son's graduating college, and I just go I can totally see that happening, because it's chaos. 2 kids for me has just been chaos, my son's wild and crazy and being Spider-Man, and the next moment he's some crazy superhero, and then the next he's jumping his bike off something, and I built this ramp for him, kind of hey, if you stay in your bed, is one of the challenges with him is getting him to sleep in his bed. Yeah. I said, hey, if you sleep in your bed for 7 nights, I'll build you a ramp for your bike. And so he did, and it's been hilarious. But the other day he has this little electric Power Wheels thing, and he's ramming it backwards. It's just and then now my daughter's gonna be 2, and she's just as crazy. I was expecting one crazy kid, and then one just kind of sits there and watches TV, but they're both just spider monkeys. So it's really helped me. I'm more of a kind of OCD. I like things organized, and I try to keep a pretty good schedule, but it's you wake up at 7 a.m. after Augie body slammed me 3 times, and then he's hey, let's go play monster trucks. And you walk into the living room, and it's just someone took an empty toy drawer and just shook it upside down. But it's helpful for me because I'm having to relax, So I don't know. Going with the flow, I think, is probably the best thing that I've learned, and I think will help me in general as a human. Yeah. Of not being so rigid and just being able to be with someone that's different than you and just kind of roll with the punches a little bit. Yeah, yeah. And then when things go sideways, going yeah, okay, well, maybe we'll do it this way. Yeah,
sure.
Yeah. So just being more flexible, I think, has been good. My biggest fear, though, my parents were pretty strict and, rigid with me. And I'm scared I'll go the other way and just let my kids do whatever. And that's been hard for me because there's so much value in that for me.
For sure, eh?
Like I look back and I just thank my mom because I'm like, there was so much valuable lessons that I learned in that. So I don't want to give that up, but I'm kind of like predisposed to like.
I think a lot of people are kind of like that. Like we just came from such a different generation.
Yeah, different time.
And you go back and I mean, my parents are a version of their parents, and it's just every generation you just get like a little bit more kind of removed, and like the pendulum just keeps swinging like a little bit further away. I feel like that's quite a hard balance to get right.
Yeah. So I mean, a big thing for me is like, things kind of like circulate or pass on generationally. There's certain things I want to stop.
Yes.
I don't want to pass on certain attributes generationally, but
like broken femurs.
Yeah, broken femurs. Like my son right now, I've seen too many videos of me. He's like, Dad, I just broke my elbow. Like, win the race. Don't break your elbow, kid.
Yeah.
I want to take what I've learned and help him avoid those types of things, and same with my daughter. And so that's the biggest challenge. How do I do that in like a really productive way and balancing, being go with the flow, and then also being like, hey kid, you got the toys out, put them away, like, so yeah, it's
just calmly with the eye twitching.
Daddy's got to go outside for a second. So yeah, no, and I don't know, there's so much to learn. I feel like every day is a challenge that way, and I'm just trying not to miss it, man. Like it's so easy to go like, when am I going testing again? I'm like, I'm ready to just like have some me time, but man, it's just going so fast. So I think I'm more open to any parenting advice than I've ever been.
That's awesome,
just because it's hard. Like it is really hard, but it's such a big blessing. Like they all make it up when they're, they like give you a hug, or I don't know, just all the things that give you the warm and fuzzies.
I've been hanging around Wes's kids a bunch,
just
because Wes has moved back here, and man, like just we went out for dinner the other night, and we got pho. I just love Vietnamese, right? So there's like an absolutely unbelievable pho restaurant 5 minutes from my house. So we go there, and his daughter never had pho in her life. And she's like pretty fussy eater.
Yeah.
And I said to him, I was like, dude, should we just go to like In-N-Out so she can get French fries? Like, I don't know what to feed this kid. Like, I've never been around her when she ate anything. And he's like, nah, don't worry about it. Well, let's eat pho and we'll figure it out. And like, she didn't know how to say the word soup.
Yeah.
She didn't know what pho was. Like, she'd never had or done any of these things. And like, I love Wes. Like, he's one of my best friends, right? And it's like, so I love his daughter, and like just seeing her eat soup for the first time, like not soup, but eat pho for the first time, and then say soup, and we're trying to get her to say pho. And it was just this like beautiful, wholesome thing. And it was just like, that's every day, all the time, in a sense, like when you have that little human that's just like growing in front of you. It was wild just to like watch it in that context.
Yep. Yeah, and I'm just trying to hang on to those moments, because there's moments where it's like, like my daughter like discovered crayons the other day.
So now
like,
all
come
of your
home,
house,
and I'm like, we've lived in this house for 6 months, and there's just like crayon everywhere, just like, oh. But just looking back at those moments and trying to like just remember them, because they're so sweet. But it's so fun though, man. Like, I'm just really tired a lot.
That's so good. Yeah. Can you see like talent that you had in your son?
For sure.
Oh,
dude,
no.
It's
that's a blessing and a curse.
It is, man. It is. I'm the biggest thing. I talked about this. I had an All for One episode with kind of my first trainer, Greg Dorenzo, big muscle guy. We were talking about kids sports, and that it's become a little more like, specialized, at like 10 years old, kids are just playing football forever. So I just want to approach it and just let him do everything, and not specialize in anything. So it does concern me to go racing. I mean, I was hurt a lot, I think people could understand that. And, yeah, I made some poor decisions racing sometimes, but sometimes I didn't, It's like,
sometimes you won the championship and
it's
got paid a lot of money.
that, and then sometimes the mistakes were not my own,
Yeah.
So, and I think for my wife, that's difficult.
Yeah, because she didn't come from this world at all.
No, but she saw a lot of that,
Yeah.
That the first video that appeared, I was leaving Detroit with a broken wrist.
Yep.
And Weimer's bike shut off, and I had nowhere to go. Landed on him, and I was in the points race, and there was only 5 rounds left at that point. It was the closest I ever was to winning the 450 Supercross championship. I was still 16 points down, but
You're in the hunt.
It
at that
wasn't
point.
over,
Yeah.
and we had a lot of hope. And so in that moment, it's like that hope that dies.
Yeah, like a part of you dies.
A part of you
of
dies.
her dies.
Yeah, and so you've lived that, and so it's scary to think about experiencing that with your kids. But he is really good on his bicycle, man. It's crazy.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
wild, isn't
Yeah,
it?
I've
there's
kept him off the Stasic. I really like the idea of like pedaling, left brain, right brain, like
Yeah.
getting energy out, but he's really good at it. Yeah.
wow. God, that's got to be a very that's a predicament, like
It
especially
is.
when you see some talent and like what it is,
Yep.
like what to look for.
Yep.
And then you see it and you're like, oh, damn,
Yep.
this kid has that thing.
Yep. Yeah, it's hard. And he was a full sender like a year ago. So I'm like, I've kind of taught him, and I'm trying to teach him like to know his limits, and he's getting better. So hopefully that can translate, because if he's got any of that sender DNA that I have, like I need to rein that back somehow. But yeah, he's really good at it. Like it is scary, but I feel like if he does ride, I can help him a lot,
Yeah.
and take away a lot of the pitfalls that I had to have growing up. My dad was amazing, but definitely was not a good rider. So I learned a lot, like through great coaches, but also through
Trial and error.
yeah, a lot of crashes. So yeah, I hope to help him, but really I hope he plays soccer and golf and climbs and does whatever,
Just be a happy kid.
Yeah. Yeah. And then if one thing sticks, it's like I didn't limit him to like just being a motocross racer, because that's what I did.
Yeah. And I think too, there is an element of like success leaves clues. And if you've been successful at one thing in your life, you can kind of apply that
Yeah.
to, so it's not like your kid has to be a motorcycle
Yep.
rider to
Yep.
be successful, because that's what you know. It's like, no, I got to the top of this thing and the clues are there. We follow the playbook.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Yeah. And I think, one of the things that I've seen stepping back and kind of looking back, the amateur world is like, it's a bit of a disaster, but it's not just motocross. It's like Pee-wee football, Pee-wee basketball, everything that parents are involved in. It's a little bit crazy. So I think I can navigate that pretty well and help him keep his head about himself if we're ever in any kind of situation, that allows him to, like we're saying, continue to develop and not get lost in the, third grade, basketball championship that might be the last one of his life. Like I hope he can, I can help him through things like that. So
it's funny that you say that, because like we don't have kids yet, but I've said to my wife, and maybe I'm an idiot, but I'm like, I feel like so many people are fucking morons that like, surely we could give a kid a pretty solid head start in life by just being semi-balanced humans around him. Because, dude, you see some like clips of football or Little League, and you're just like, what are these people, like motocross? Man, I had a guy come up to me at one of the local tracks, and I won't get too specific. And man, the questions this guy was asking me about his kid going pro. One, don't ask me.
Yeah.
Because I've never been pro. But also, these are all the wrong questions, dude. Like, if you're asking this, your kid is fucked. Like, he has zero chance of not only being a professional motocross rider, this kid might not make it past high school, dude. Because if this is what you're saying to me in public, a complete stranger, you've got some massive dramas, bro.
Yep. Yeah, that's I don't know what it is. I mean, maybe it's like Jake Fineta, the chaplain for motocross, he helped me out a little bit whenever I talked to him here and there when I retired. And he's like, a lot of people are left with two different ideas. Either I've still got it and I left too early, or the what ifs.
Yeah, shoulda, coulda, woulda.
What if this would have went right or that would have right? And I don't know if it's the parents that are left with those two questions that never like fully got that out of themselves.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden there's a kid and they're gonna not make the mistake or do the thing. But
dude, that's so true, man. And it's all ego.
Yeah.
It's just the parents' own ego.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's what this guy was. It was just like, hey, man, it ain't happening.
Yeah.
Like, it's too late.
Yeah.
It's not like you don't have the skills to translate to this child. Like, there's nothing that, like, the gap that you have to overcome personally to do this is just too big, you know?
Yeah. I started a few years ago, like creating like a playbook for different age ranges, because I would have people come up to me and they're like, hey man, what's the one thing that you need to do for my kid to be a champion? And I'm like, oh yeah, well, what's your kid ride? He's like, he's on a mini Cobra. He's 6 years old. He's going to Loretta's this year. I'm like, dude, the one thing right now is have fun. Like, he's 6. So I wanted to create like an age appropriate kind of like, here's what you do, but that's maybe a big task. But that's my advice to people under 10, like maybe under 12. I don't know. It's like, have fun, like practice, go ride your motorcycle as much as you can.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know, try to eat okay and exercise a little bit, but ride your bike, man. Ride your bike all day, every day. Have fun doing it. When it's not fun, take a break. But I think the parents are what makes it really tough. And I think the hard part is it then makes the kid's life miserable.
Oh, dude.
So it's like, I don't know. I hope that through my experience with my own kids, I can not make their life miserable and allow them to grow in the areas that they're going to thrive in. Yeah.
Yeah. And there's a level of just like undeniability. Like, I watched Jett on a 60.
Yeah.
And I knew that Jett Lawrence would be this Jett Lawrence. Yeah. Like, it was so obvious to see. And I'm not alone.
Yeah.
I remember having conversations when Jett was literally on a 50 and a 60. And people are like, dude, he's the next Chad Reed.
Yeah.
He is the next Chad Reed with like complete certainty.
Yep.
And that's why on this podcast, when no one even knew who he was, I was literally just saying to everybody, he's going to be the next big thing. Because we all thought that from when the kid was 5.
Yeah.
And he would get off the bike and make sandcastles.
Yeah. He still does that.
He does. But it's like, there's a level of undeniability, and you've got to like be the guy that fosters that talent, you know. And it's funny, like even going to the track with DR, like, dude, he rode more than me.
Yeah.
And it's like his arms were hurting and he was stopping every corner to like shake it, but he just was like just dogged determination.
Yeah.
And I didn't have that as a kid.
Yeah.
You know, and I can look at a bunch of other people that didn't have like it has to come from inside.
Yeah.
That person. And if you have a trained eye, you can know to look for that. But it's just like, if they don't you can't make that, you know. Like, you can get a kid pro, you can get a kid to be in the back of the pack as a privateer, and you can spend all the money, and you can manufacture a certain level of career for a guy by just following the playbook.
Yep.
But it's like, if you want that life for your kid, then like that's a different conversation.
Yep.
Like, that's again, you're not wanting the right thing, but it's like, you'll know if that kid is going to be something or has the potential to be something. Like, your kid might have the talent, but just not care.
It doesn't want to,
and he's not coming to you being like, Dad, take me riding. Dad, take me riding. Dad, take me riding. I want to go riding. And it's like, you can have all the talent if he doesn't have that. Like,
Yep.
there's such a level of undeniability to the kids that make it.
Yep. 100%. Yep.
And that just can't be manufactured.
Yeah. So that's the task, I think, of a parent is going, that's not really what I like or what I want. But what's he good at, you know? And then for me, the difficult thing is if he is a good rider, like, how do I foster that
In a healthy way.
In a healthy way. Navigate it a way that, my wife's okay with and all those things. So,
because ultimately that's the thing that matters.
Yeah. What's mama think?
Yeah.
Like, she was so relieved when I retired racing. It was just hard on her, all those crashes that we were watching,
She was there.
She was there. So, and I understand that, like I've had a hard time when we're at the park and he's the kid that's like on top of the playground, not in it. It's hard for me to let him do that, but I think it's important that I, within reason, let him. But I'm typically been the dad that's like, hey, bud, that's not safe. But
he's basically like, shut up, Dad.
Yeah,
I've seen
this.
you fly through the air, bro.
Exactly. Like the chain smoking dad that's like, don't smoke, kid. These things will kill you.
We need to bring you a quick word from our sponsor, motosport.com. I got a YZ450F that I got some upgrades to do. You know exactly where I'm going. I'm going to need some help with customer service, so I'm going to chat with a gearhead. This box showed up. It has a 2007 KTM master cylinder, a Yamaha caliper, also 2007, and a Turner braided brake lines. I feel like this is a very good upgrade for $600. Need the old hanger, so we're gonna put a bit of grease on that and get it back on, bolt her up. Caliper has been done. Now this can just get bolted on. Now, shout out to Kiefer, who I think stole this off Doug Dubark. That was easy. Nah, that was easy. This is a pretty epic upgrade. You can get OEM parts to build this little Frankenstein brake kit, or basically anything else for any brand by going to motosport.com. So we could go in a million directions here. Let's talk about the financial side of Supercross.
Yeah.
So Jett rumored to have signed a $340 gajillion contract. No, like $22 million, 5 years is the rumors. I actually don't know for sure. But either way, a lot of money.
Yeah.
Seems like the sport is like maybe trending a little bit more. You were at the top, you were winning championships, and you were winning Supercross main events. What was the money like back then?
Wasn't 22 million.
No, I can imagine.
I think probably, I mean, I don't know. I hate to say too much because I wasn't as involved financially then, but I think probably in my best years, it was like $1.5, $2 million, something like that.
Yeah.
Which, I wasn't like.
And that's sign on?
No. I'm talking
that's all in.
everything. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So I think things have elevated a little bit since then.
Yeah. Was it 100K a win back then in Supercross?
I think then it was 70K.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you just got stooged.
Yeah.
Hectic.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Did you see, did it ebb and flow? Because, so you came in 2010, and that was, rumored to be that Loretta's kind of year with you, Izzy, Stroop. Was it your year?
So 2007
was that the year before?
Was Izzy, Stroop, and myself, Will Hahn. There was a bunch of guys, and money was good.
Yeah.
So in 2006, I won all my motos at Loretta's.
Dude, you were 2 years before everything went to shit.
Yeah. So that's where I was going. 2006, I win everything.
6 for 6 at Loretta's.
Yeah. Ziggy talks to me. Hey, we want to sign you. I'm like, dude, I don't use factory connecting suspension, but I'll try. And he's like, no, we want you on a race team. Then I'm like, oh, okay.
You thought you were getting some golf.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm sweet. I mean, I'm sure your valving's good. I've got a guy, but and that contract was $300K
As an amateur.
as an amateur.
Wow.
And so I was like, sick.
Had you ever really made any money before that? Like basically just contingency, probably.
I mean, that same year, Ponca and Loretta's, I won all the classes at Ponca and all the classes at Loretta's. I made like $18,000 or something.
Wow.
Like, for me, I was like, we're rich, you know, I'm rolling in it. So 300K was like, no way. And I think if I won a championship, it bumped up to like 350 or something like that. So I came in at like a really good time. I mean, that's like almost still a good contract today.
In amateurs?
For like a 250 guy. Say you're a PC guy or whatever. Like, I mean, it's probably not good anymore, but it's definitely like still, it was good at the time. Yeah. So,
and $300,000 in 2007 was worth a lot more than $300,000 today.
Yeah. So, so fast forward end of 2009, I'm a champion. Had a couple injuries, but the potential's really high. I've done really well. So I'm thinking, you know, hey, 600K. And this is right after the recession. Mm-hmm. So they're like 375. I'm like, oh. But that's kind of how it went for a minute in the sport. Like 08, 9, 10, 11, it started to recover a bit. But I was thinking I was just going to crush it. And I couldn't get anything from anybody. So I think I signed that next agreement for just around 400,000. And then I think my first Honda deal was like 550 or something like that. I got a really good gear deal from Fly at that time. Yeah, it was like 250. So I mean, I think base salary for 2011, I think I was like around 850, 900, something like that. Yeah. And then race wins, podiums, different things. I did really well, you know, for that time. Yeah. So. You know, unfortunately, I never the only time I really leveraged a contract was probably 2014. I think I signed for 750 with Honda. Wow. But it was always so I had a great 2011, won Supercrosses, was like a title contender at that time. But when it came time to renew my contract for that one, I just broke my back. And I wasn't even sure I was going to.
Was that round 1 of 2012?
Didn't race round 1.
No, it was round 2.
It was round
Dodger Stadium.
3. So it went
3.
Anaheim. I didn't race because I was coming off a broken collarbone. Yeah. Came back early for Phoenix. Got like 6th or 7th. The third round, broke my back in Dodger Stadium. So I think they came in at like 250 for that, and I was like totally just brokenhearted.
500K pay cut.
Yeah. So I went to Cowie, almost rode for Cowie. They were offering good money. But Muscle Milk at the time was they did Revival 41. They're working on that, and then Honda kind of came up to what Cowie was offering, and you know, I decided to stay. I wasn't sure how the dynamic with Villapoto was going to work.
With UNRV.
Yeah. Yep. And we kind of have different bike setups. So I'd heard rumors about Cowie kind of having one guy and then the other guy has to kind of figure it out. So that's why I didn't go with that. And there was some other things that kind of, you know, made that possible for me to stay with Honda. But so I didn't get to leverage that contract. You know, I was one of the guys and then just had that terrible string of injuries in 6 months, and basically I was a liability, and it was like, hey, we don't know if we can trust the guy that unfortunately the guy that negotiated the contract didn't do a good job. You know, I'm thankful for Eric Kehoe because he really kind of had my back and got me back up to a
decent number,
a good number.
Yeah.
And then that next contract was good with Honda. So and then my KTM contract was, again, it was kind of like I was at a terrible 2016 and
they just threw it at you.
Yeah.
And the papers just flew everywhere and you had to stack them in order.
It was still a good deal. I think it was 500,000 or something, which, you know, for me, I was not expecting a whole lot more kind of based on my results. So, So yeah, no, I don't think I ever got to really leverage a contract. I think I could, had I performed in 2016, I think I really could have leveraged a good Honda contract that year, and been up in that, kind of base salary at the time of, around $1 million, 1.2, something like that. But just never really got to do that. But then again, too, in my time frame, there weren't many guys making that kind of money.
That's what I was going to ask. Were you aware of who was kind of making what at the time?
Yeah, and it wasn't all that much. I mean, I think Dungy's KTM deal was pretty big. RV's deals were pretty big, but aside from that, it wasn't really that exciting. It was still kind of off the tails of 08. So
yeah, it's almost like once that got reset,
it was hard for it to come back up. And it seems like now for certain guys, it's come up and it's come up good.
Yeah.
I think part of that's the exposure, everything that the sport's doing, streaming, YouTube, all the things that people look at and it's desirable to invest in.
Yeah. We're still not seeing that much outside industry stuff, though.
No, and I don't know that we will. I mean, it's hard. I think until we open up a lot.
And what does that look like for you?
That means like total YouTube access, a lot of appearances. Like if you look at a NASCAR deal, like look what they're doing in a week. They're going to like Vermont to go like sign at a Lowe's.
Mate, 100%.
Yeah. We're not going to do that.
That's that's like kind of a larger question of the sport. One of the things that I've kind of like floated, it was actually after talking to some of the NASCAR guys. There was a few NASCAR dudes that just like back to back did the podcast because they all had a break in the schedule. They were all coming west, and they were all like, NASCAR's paying $1 million to the driver that gets the most engagement on YouTube and social media.
Yep.
So all these dudes were just like, hey bro, can I come do the pod real quick while I'm here? And I'm like, sure, let's go. But like, that's how serious NASCAR's taking it.
Yep.
And one of the problems with our sport is that if you live at the goat farm, you can ride Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then you hop on a flight Thursday night. So there's just like unlimited time where you can be on the bike and you can get better and you can like just grind.
Yep.
And I don't think we need that.
Until that, I mean, there's certain things about our sport that have not changed in 50 years. I mean, it's just, and it's kind of like a little bit of the...
Don't change my sport, bro. It's so good how it is. You can't do it.
And two strokes, man. Two strokes are awesome. And they are awesome. I agree. But I don't know. There's
don't make rules, man. Freedom, brother.
Yeah,
freedom.
Let them board out, boys. Yeah, and there's certain things, and I personally wouldn't have been a rider that wanted that. I don't want to go to West Virginia to like some headquarters and
talk $1 million. Though.
Yeah, that's true. That's true, especially right now. I would really like be okay with that. But yeah, the whole like riding 3 days a week, 4 days a week, to me is like, it's just because what it's been done.
Well, no, it's because everybody else is doing it. And if you don't do it, the mental equity that you would spend on doubting your decisions through the week, that's the killer.
Yep.
And all the teams that are like, they're testing and they're doing this and they're doing that.
Yep. And so that part didn't hit me until I was done racing, didn't ride for a year.
And then came back and
came back, and I was like, dude, I'm still just as good. It was kind of like, there's some fitness lacking. Yeah, I'm not as sharp. There's other things, but like, wow, like I really didn't need to ride every day in a week. So I mean, even now, it's like sometimes I don't ride every couple weeks, and I'm,
still ripping.
I'm not at a certain level, but I'm also almost 35 and don't really train that much. I mean, I guess there's a certain stigma to the amount of riding that is perceived that you need to do that I think holds it back. And it holds it back on a couple ways for me. One, the physical toll that it takes on you day to day. It's hard to go from January to October and not get hurt in some way, shape, or form. People harped on me because I was hurt. Look at the sport as a whole and tell me who's made it through a season in the last few years. It's hard, and we're I think part of that is riding 3-4 days a week and then racing. It's like it's not sustainable over the long haul for the riders. It's also not sustainable for everyone else. The motor builders,
right.
I mean, the suspension. I mean, it is like it creates a huge load of work. And yeah, there's times for it for sure. Off season, put it in, but it's just, I don't know. I think until that changes and then we open to like the idea of, you know, a little more of kind of the shaking babies and kissing hands. I mean, I don't see a lot more of that coming around. And I think, you know, social media has been a huge part of that. It's kind of allowed people into people into other people's lives in a way. You know, things like this have helped a lot, but until we open up in a way of other sports, I think it's going to be hard to expect a lot else. And the other thing that I'll say is not everyone can relate to riding a motorcycle. A lot of people can relate to driving a car. A lot of people can relate to picking up a basketball.
Yeah, but also, like, look at how big MotoGP is.
True.
And it's way less relatable.
Yeah, that's true.
You know,
that's true.
I think that it's funny, like the NASCAR guys, they kind of, it was like a light bulb moment. Like, you need to regulate something on Wednesdays. Like, there just has to be a thing that you have to do on Wednesday, which means you can't ride.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that, yeah, maybe there is like, it's a mandatory media day on Wednesday, or it's like a mandatory appearance day. And whether that's like a Skype thing, whether it's but like and again, I think that it's also a problem with just like open season of like anyone can race at any period of time. Like it just creates a nightmare.
Yeah.
Like how do you run it as a professional sport when you've got 120 dudes that rock up on any given weekend? And it's like, how do you manage 120 guys? 80 of them, you don't even know who they are. And I mean, they're probably, you know, working jobs or living it. Like they're kind of like not the problem, but then the problem is if you can't do it for them, then you can't do it for them. And these are the guys that like actually kind of matter. But like, imagine if we went to a more locked in group of riders where there's like, you have to do something to be in this group that can race Supercross. And then if that's like a 60 rider field, that's a football team.
Yeah.
You know, like it's a lot easier to like manage that group of people.
Right.
And then you just say like, hey guys, like you can ride Monday, you can ride Tuesday, and Thursday, well, Friday's press day.
Yep.
Or
you got this many hours you can do in a week.
Yeah. But right now, like you could never regulate it.
Yeah,
What are you going to have like security cameras at the star farm and then they just go somewhere? Like it's impossible because you can build a Supercross track at your house.
Yeah.
So I think that the ticket it's like becomes this double-edged sword where it's like you tell these guys like, hey, Honda has a press girl. She's awesome. So it's like, hey, like Wednesdays, she's your boss.
Yeah.
And she reports to Sean Brennan.
Yep.
And she says, these guys had this appearance and this appearance or this interview and this. And it's like, you just X out that day from their training schedule.
Yep.
And it's the same for everybody.
Yep.
Because you go to a World Supercross. Bro, Ken, Eli, all those boys didn't ride at all.
Yeah.
Didn't change the results at all.
Yeah.
They all still did the jump first lap of every practice.
Yep.
Like, dude, and not only like you gave your list, what about the risk?
Yeah.
Dude, if you ride once a week, that's 52 times that you're riding. So let's just delete 52 chances of a catastrophic failure for all of these
and that's kind of
riders.
what I was saying about the I mean, it's work for everybody, right? Like, you know, Supercross set of suspension's only good for like maybe 10 hours.
Yeah, true.
So your guy that's like, you know, building your race stuff, your test stuff, your practice stuff for 2 or 3 guys is then overloaded. So
That's when mistakes can happen. It's when failures
well,
can
you know,
happen.
hey, so and so hasn't had time, so this stuff's got 15 hours on it, so it's a little soft, a little springy. Like, be careful.
Well, I know a guy who was injured in Supercross, came back, did his first ride on motocross, rode on production level suspension. So it wasn't his proper suspension.
Yep.
Because they just didn't have suspension.
Yep.
Fucking cartwheeled.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he was just like, and I said to him, I was like, hey, bro, like, you have to tell the team
Yep.
that can never happen again.
Yeah.
Like, what if that was a career end? He got up and he was fine.
Yep.
But it's like, what if that's a career ending injury?
Yep.
Because they just didn't have a set of suspension ready?
Yeah.
Like, dude, not on my, like, no, I'm not playing that game. And that's a numbers thing. It's exactly what you're saying. That's a numbers thing.
Yeah. And it's hard for me because I love the roots part of the sport. This kind of like greasy hands, everyone putting in overtime.
Do your own hair filter.
It's like special because it creates a sense of like grit and determination that we love.
And like relatability.
Yeah. So I think we can't lose that. But at some level, we got to create a norm that is a little more sustainable, you know, because I mean, like, and I'm probably gonna get myself in trouble, but adding these super motocross rounds, it's really cool and it's giving money to the sport. But I mean, think of the race team employees that didn't get raises to go work 3 more races. It's like it's just a lot of strain. It's really difficult to sustain.
Well, and I think that first year, everyone's doing it. The payday was like everyone's kind of for it. Second year, the guys started complaining. Third year, is AP racing?
I don't know.
Is Coop racing?
Yeah.
Oh, Sexton took half the season.
Yeah.
Ah,
Yeah.
weird. They're all just kind of not racing.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Don't know.
I don't know what the answer is. The answer is definitely not more racing. I mean, and maybe that's like a little bit controversial because guys seek out overseas races and things, but I don't know, man. Until you've raced 15 straight weeks of Supercross, take 1 weekend off and then go race 2 more, take another weekend off and then go race 3 weeks of, I mean, it's just like,
It's relentless.
it's gnarly. It's really gnarly. And so I mean, to me, the solution is you drop a couple more Supercrosses. All of a sudden, you can group your races in 4 weeks. You know, you've got 4 week off, 4 week off, 4 week off, and then you kind of that's your Supercross series. Even those weeks of break make a difference, but it's still not probably enough. But I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. I think people are trying. And I think I applaud them for the super motocross thing because it does bring money. But
and I love that I, as a fan, get to watch 3 more great races.
Yeah.
You know, like I think back to Charlotte last year and that epic race between Jett and Eli. And it's like Eli's hitting the quad. Shut up and take my money. You know?
I love it.
But it's like, that's very selfish. You know?
Well, I mean, people talk about baseball having whatever.
It's just
of
not the
games.
same,
It's
bro.
not when you make a mistake playing baseball, you don't possibly maim yourself. You know what I mean? It's like, so I don't know. I really don't know what the answer is, and not saying I do. I think there's a way to try, and the way to try is unfortunately at the expense of some of the promoters to lose races. So I mean that's my opinion, but I don't know that that's ever going to happen. So, I mean, it's just kind of like we're too dispensable. Our careers are not long enough to create enough of a brand to rely on us.
To have the leverage.
Yeah. And then you have to capitalize on what you have. And that's why guys are doing
that's
overseas.
Why I was going to say the exact same thing. Because when you're getting $300,000
to go race for 2 nights, why not?
And you don't give a fuck if you win or lose. Like, yes.
And you get to go to
money.
Europe or wherever, you know, it's like, it's
finally your wife gets a break.
It's way different than knowing you got to be on for each qualifying practice, each heat, each main, each moto. It's way different. But yeah, I don't know. Lose some races. I mean, that's what I think. But that's probably. I'm sure the people that pull the levers probably won't like that I said that.
Yeah, no, like, and their argument, I've literally been standing there when they've like fired back and said, well, stop going to off-season race. But it's like, you just have to understand why they're going.
I went to Bercy and Genoa Supercross on my honeymoon.
Yeah.
I did one night of I think it was called.
You profited on your honeymoon. I love that.
Yeah. I mean, we didn't have time. So it was like we got married and then it was like, hey, we're going to do those overseas races and go make, $100,000. And oh, yeah, we're going to stay in Rome for 3 days in between.
Yeah.
So it's like, it was a no-brainer. I wasn't overly ready. The races weren't long. It was a cool testing opportunity, and it was just fun. There was no pressure. I just showed up and raced and got money. And so maybe that's selfish, but I'm just saying that's not apples to apples.
Yeah,
it's way different than a series race.
Yeah, and I just think this year, like, the fact that Chase sat out the first 6 rounds of the series, like, you think that's because he was injured?
I don't know. I hate to speculate, but it certainly didn't seem like there was any urgency to get back. I don't know.
And then Coop went in. Coop basically walked to the doctor and was like, hey, bro, I need you to do me a solid. I need 3 stitches on either side of my kneecap. Just give me a little cut, wrap it up, and I'm sitting out for the next X amount. Like, he's done the math and he's like, cool, I'm going into the playoffs with it. Like, dude, you can't tell me any different.
Yeah, I mean, you never know what's going on in someone's life, but it certainly doesn't seem like there's a big urgency to be at every race.
And that hurts all of it.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I think if you have less races, I mean, one, it's like, let's say back in 2011, we had 15 straight Supercrosses with no breaks. Say you hurt yourself at round 4.
Yeah, you're done.
You're kind of done because you're not going to ride. You're not going to train for 3 or 4 weeks. You're going to race on the weekends, hurt yourself a little bit more. It's like there's not a chance to like ever get back on top of it. And that just accumulates over months, over years. It's like, it's tough. So
yeah. And I think, like, let's say you go to this. So we started talking about this because it's like, okay, yeah, I just don't see the outside money coming in because our guys just won't go and they just don't have the time to do the things that other people will do for that money, right?
Yep.
So it's like, okay, let's figure out a way to just clip all this shit. And it's like, you've got Monday and Tuesday to be on the bike. And the rest of it, you're in a hotel gym or you're on Zoom calls or like you're promoting the sport. And then it just levels it out for everybody. And we're very strict on this. I know so many guys, like even Eli, dude, when Eli was in here, he's like, yeah, man, I just don't think I need to ride that much.
Yep.
Like if we go to something like that, if Feld really is like just that has to be this many races, I think that's what you have to do. And then I also think that then a guy like you becomes more important.
Yeah.
And then maybe you do need to hire another test rider or you do need some guys to like do the work.
Yep.
And then you're thickening out the industry because like MotoGP, that's what happens.
Yep.
You got Danny Pedrosa, you got Aleix Spargo. Like you have guys where it becomes their job and you get guys that like, there's some guys I don't give a fuck to watch race. And that's the long and the short of it. And it's no disrespect to them, but they're not in the race to watch.
Yep.
They're phenomenal riders.
Yep.
And they have so much to give and they deserve a place in the industry. But it's like, dude, the tip of this spear is just getting so sharp right now.
I mean, you would think, I mean, I don't know that it's just like there's so many hypotheticals in this conversation, but
it's what we do here, mate. We just speculate and talk nonsense.
You would think that the other series start to elevate, the arena crosses of the world.
For sure.
You know, maybe same day, different classes kind of thing, elevate, you know. I don't know, but I mean, that's MotoGP, right? It's, you know, there's different levels of competing. So, you know, maybe there's more levels that could happen. I don't know. But either way, I mean, there's going to be a small percentage at the top that's making the money. It's like, I don't know. There's got to be a way to spread it out a little bit and mitigate some of the risk. I don't know. It's still going to be gnarly. You know, whenever I was, you know, talking to some people about kind of my rider advocacy, I was trying
because
to create...
that's what I was going to say, right? So like when you retired, you like kind of tried to step into a role and then went, nah, it's not happening.
Yeah, and part of my pitch was, hey, I'm not here to like make a bunch of like
problems for you,
or I'm not trying to tame the sport. My whole thing was that you could put these athletes in a parking lot on bikes and they'd go hurt themselves. I mean, that's just part of athletics. Golf is probably one of the lowest impact sports you can do. How many guys hurt themselves playing golf? I mean, it's probably surprising the actual number of guys that are back strains and whatever else.
Yeah, knees and
things. Everything you do at a high level, you're going to hurt yourself. It's just you're pushing human performance as hard as it can go. It's gonna fail sometimes. But I mean, how do you mitigate risk? And that was my whole thing, and my whole push was how do we at least remove some of the variables that don't need to happen, right? I can't remember the name of the movie. Oh man, it was The Hateful Eight or something like that.
Yeah.
But the very beginning of the movie, I think Samuel L. Jackson hops in this wagon, and they're headed somewhere, and he says, don't you know this job isn't that hard? Or don't you know this? Oh, I didn't even remember. I need to probably figure that out before I start spouting it. But he says something to the effect like, yeah, it's hard, but it doesn't have to be that hard. He says, oh, this job ain't easy, son. And he says, it doesn't have to be that hard neither. That's what I was.
That's the philosophy.
That's the philosophy, right?
Yeah.
Like, for sure, we don't want to remove
the risk,
the things that we love.
Yeah.
But we want to try to figure out a way to like mitigate some of the things that we don't necessarily. My whole part of my whole pitch was lap 3 of Anaheim in 2017. You have to learn the track in 5 minutes because it was a delayed schedule. So I hit this thing how I would normally hit it. Didn't even come close because it was off in a certain way because they built it wet. Crash, tore my rotator cuff. It's like my time with KTM was, from that point, basically done. I tried to ride through it, and it was just a disaster.
That's such a shit injury, too.
And so my whole point was, if you can eliminate that, like, even just a little bit, like, and then all of a sudden there's 3 or 4 more guys at, 6 or 7 rounds in, maybe it becomes more exciting. But I don't know. It's hard with these kind of conversations because there's a lot of
moving parts,
what ifs, and I don't think, talk about developing motorcycles, for example. When I first come into this, it's like, it's easy, just do this and do that, but it's not so easy as to shift it that quick. So there's always another level. I guess my hope with the advocacy was to give the riders more of a voice in the process, which I still don't feel that they have. And
so what happened in that process? Where did it not work?
So Feld gave me 1 race.
That's generous.
Yeah, I did Anaheim 1. Did this whole race report, was there the whole time during the track build, kind of did the whole thing. I thought I went really well. And then it just got really quiet. Later that year, during their manufacturers meeting, they had kind of talked to some of the manufacturers, hey, what do you think about this position? And so they actually did offer me a job, Feld did. And my whole thing the whole time was, I don't want to work for Feld. I don't think it works that way.
No, it's a bit of a conflict of interest, right?
I think if you're going to do it, you got to be a third party. And that's what I was trying to do. I was trying to raise funds from the manufacturers, from each manufacturer. I wanted to get a certain amount of money from each one. So each company had equal shares in it. So there was no talk of
An equal representation.
right,
Yeah.
right. And so that's how I felt it was going to work. They felt that they wanted, and whether it was liability or whatever, they wanted to keep it in house, and I just wasn't interested in that. And then this test riding role kind of came around the same time. So, and it was so controversial the whole time that I was pursuing it. I was like, I'm not sure I have the personality to be the guy that's like,
Yeah, dealing with this level of conflict.
yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally fair.
But I still think the system works.
For sure. And
it-
especially if each manufacturer just has like an equal
Yep.
stake in
Yep.
it.
Yep. And it wasn't like a ton of money I was asking. I think it was like,
This is like $1 million each. It's like
that's it.
Yeah,
It was like 10 or
I'm trying to make up for lost ground.
it was like 10 or 20 grand from everyone to like for a
yeah,
year.
which is nothing.
Yeah. With the, with an occasional sponsor like a Monster or something just to make it sustainable. But yeah, I selfishly don't think I was the guy for the job looking back at it, just because I too much of a, just
You're too damn nice. Just say
kind.
it.
I don't know. Like I cared too much, and I don't know. I kind of need like a little bit of a disagreeable person in that position.
Yeah, you have to be okay with a certain level of conflict.
Yep.
So you've won a gajillion titles with Honda in your time there. Is there one that's more meaningful or one that like really stands out in terms of one that you ultimately had a hand in, whether it was the production bike or the actual race bike?
It's been a long time. I mean, I've like
It has been, dude.
yeah, accumulatively have worked for Honda for like 16, almost 17 years. So
I'm talking probably more as a test rider.
as a test rider. Okay, yeah. I'm really proud of our 25 machine. I know it's not perfect, but
Hey, it's got the sales hat. Hey, got the sales hat on. Yeah, I shouldn't have even asked.
yeah, it's for sale.
It's in dealerships
10,000
right
MSRP
now.
is 0% financing. No, I am. I really am. I just, to me, it was the first time I ever saw the blend of race team and production working together and then producing a better motorcycle. Like, and I'm not saying it's the best. I'm saying it's a lot better than what we had. And I don't know. It was just really cool to ride that bike. And it's like, kind of very first stage. It's kind of like a Frankenstein, development machine. And then to see it actually come out, it was the first time I ever did that. And it was really cool, and we missed a couple areas for sure, but it was fun to see people go like, wow, yeah, I'd actually buy a Honda now, like to me, that was like really special. So that was really cool. Jett's first 250 championship for Honda was really cool. Like Honda hadn't won a championship, and
Yeah, true way.
and I wanted to be the guy that did that for Honda. That was like my goal. Like not many people wanted to go to Honda in 2011. I was like, maybe I could be the guy to like kind of do it again for the red. And so that one was kind of special. And also Chase Sexton's was special. Just because it was our first premier Supercross championship. And
so
I think it was
long.
20 years or something.
Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously Jett's perfect season was just stupid, crazy. That whole year 23 was just incredible. Like Jett and Hunter win
Hunter as well. Yeah.
Lights championships. Chase wins the 450.
They won everything.
And then that summer, Jett does what Jett does, and Hunter did his, and it was just wild. So, but I guess looking back at my time in Honda, I'm just so happy to see the culture change. Like,
yeah, it had like such a bad rep.
And
now it's got the best rep.
Yeah, and it was closed off, and it was strict, and it was tight. I remember I got in trouble all the time on my Instagram for like the dumbest things, and it just was not fun. And now it's like just the environment of the team and it's not perfect, but the environment of the team, everyone's working together well, and I'm most, and I'm not saying that I did that. I'm just happy to see that. Like, and if I had any small part in that, I'm like, let's go. Like, that's cool.
Yeah, I mean, just there's like at least for me, there's like a vibe check of like, can you walk into the truck?
Yeah.
And I can walk into the truck, and it's always a vibe, and it's always a good time. And, you know, like Benny's awesome, Christian, like just Lars is awesome. Like everyone there is like, I don't know, it just feels like people are there because they love being at the races. You know what I mean? It doesn't, like, there's been so many teams in the past where you just like, I won't go there. I just don't want to go there.
In the air.
Yeah.
It's and Honda was that for a lot.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, and I'm not blaming anybody for that. It's hard to create a culture that's not the case in stressful environments, you know. So, I'm really proud of our guys for doing that.
How many of your New Year's resolutions have you been able to keep so far? I've been able to keep on track with my daily nutrition habits, as I'm still starting off each and every morning with AG1, the same way I have for years. 1 scoop a day or one of the convenient travel packs when I'm away at the races make it really easy to stay on track with my health goals. For me, the benefits of taking AG1 every day are super clear. Firstly, it just sets the day off on the right foot. Secondly, after years of taking AG1, I know how good it is for my digestion and overall gut health. My skin is clearer and my hair and nails are healthier. I love that AG1 is NSF certified for sport, meaning it's been independently tested for quality. When it comes to my health, I want something I can trust, and that's why I've been partnering with AG1 for so long. And AG1 is offering new subscribers a free $76 gift when you sign up. You'll get a welcome kit, a bottle of D3K2, and 5 free travel packs in your first box. So make sure you check out drinkag1.com/gypsytales to start your new year on a healthier note. So can you pull up a picture of this prototype machine? Let's break this thing down.
Yeah.
What do you know that I don't know? Have you got any intel? Whose is it on? Ruben Fernandez? Is it like, surely it's on Vital or something?
HRC MXGP or something.
Here we go, company man.
Yeah. Maybe that third one. Yeah.
There we go. Scroll down.
There should be a good, maybe a couple pictures there.
Is that a gallery? No, it's just
Yeah.
Can you pause that? Does it pause? All right, refresh. Pause it like peak side on so we can really see. All right. Oh yeah, there. Yeah.
Don't get me fired, dude.
Bro, it's on a public Instagram, bro. So what am I looking at here, Trey Canard? What am I getting when I get my 26 Honda CRF or it'd be whatever year it is. Whenever this comes out, what am I looking at?
Yeah, so I mean,
because I'm getting one.
It's kind of funny in my role because it never stops, right? Like you're always, hey, what did we do wrong here? What are we gonna do moving forward? And so, this is what we're looking at is what's happening next. So, yeah, I'm really happy that Ruben raced it. Like, it's early, like
real early,
so early for him to do that. But
that's cool though. It's cool that they're getting ahead of that in that way.
And I think it says a lot about where Honda development is.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
With motocross.
What does this say about Honda right now that they're doing this like years ahead?
The gas is on.
Yeah.
Yeah, which for me is super exciting.
Yeah.
To be a part of that. So, I'm really pleased. I mean, it's for them to go racing on it like this early I was surprised.
And do you get like a memo on that where they're like, hey, Ruben's going to race it? Like, how ahead of time do you know that they're even doing it?
It was really short notice, like that development team, obviously we've been working, trying to improve motorcycles. So yeah, it was quick. It was really quick. Like, especially durability phases and things like that. Like they put in some
I was
work.
going to say they would have had to put a lot of hours on that, right? To
Yeah.
like get it to that point. Probably like 500 hours plus
I don't
on
know what
certain
it is
things.
as far as like the physical riding time. Like there's dynos and things like that do a lot of the work before it even gets to ride, but it's a lot of work. So to see them do that this early, I was really happy from a development standpoint, because I mean it's still early in the prototype phase. So one, that tells me that it's performing well enough to go race, both durability and riding wise and things like that. And that they're really keen on trying to develop it more.
Yeah.
So so that's huge, man. Like I was talking about earlier, this development team. Like I'm very happy with them, and I hope for their sake that this bike does well. But we've got a lot more work to do.
Do you ever get any indication of commercially how well the bikes are selling? Like, does that ever trying to trickle down? So you develop, you have the 23, 24, and then you're developing the 25, and there's like a lot of this race team production crossover. And then the 25 comes out, and then you hear the feedback from the media dorks like me, and everyone's kind of frothing on it. So you get that feedback. But do you ever get any numbers? Honda's like, this is selling really well. We crushed it. We're doing good.
Yeah, there's the Motorcycle Industry Council, which I'm not sure if you're familiar with, but they, one example of MIC is, around 2010, there was kind of a scare where the government was kind of putting a hold on motorcycles geared towards kids under a certain age demographic because there was lead in the
fuel,
in the throttle cable or something.
Oh, okay. It wasn't fuel?
I think it was the throttle cable, something like that.
So just don't let your kid eat your throttle cable.
Basically, yeah. It was common sense stuff.
What are we up to here?
It was common sense stuff. But the MIC is someone who represents all the brands who can go to Washington and say, hey, this is nonsense. No kid is going to chew on a throttle cable. And
some will, but we can do without those.
They'll probably be okay. And so the MIC is a company or is an organization that kind of represents all of the motorcycle brands, but they keep record of sales across all manufacturers, and so there's a way of knowing. So yes.
And so you can see, and like, does Honda pass on that info? Like, hey, we crushed it. These things are selling well.
It's not our focal point.
Okay.
Which is great because to me, your focal point should be performance always.
Just different buckets.
Yeah.
Leave that to other people.
Leave that to the people that do that. I think the moment that you make it about advertising or sales, you probably miss the performance side of it. Obviously, those two go hand in hand. If you don't have something that's not performing well, your base is still going to buy it, but you're probably not going to crush it. So, from what I can tell, though, the 25s, especially the Works editions, like really crushed it. It was hard to find WEs, and they sold kind of over asking from what I've heard from a couple dealers. So, I think it did well. So, I guess to answer that question, I don't think that's influencing our the team's development.
Yeah, so it's not like Honda's like, keep it up, guys. This is great. So what do you think that you can improve on the 25 in this new prototype model? Or like, what are you guys trying to improve? Or is this not super production based and they're just like going in directions? Or how does that work?
This is very early prototype.
Okay.
Yeah. So, for Ruben to race, that's why I was surprised that they wanted to race it. But I think the racing environment is like the perfect environment to test in. Kind of like the CRE that I raced in Japan.
It's going to be my next question.
It was like, from what I understand, after talking to the development team, the value in that race was kind of like
massive.
Yeah. And the result was unfortunate, but the racing environment is kind of like the ultimate environment, especially in kind of pre-production testing, you got to be pretty cautious about where you're doing it, when you're doing it. It's to find a motocross track that's people don't have access to is kind of hard sometimes. Sometimes like a water truck guy strolls up and everyone's like running, but don't look. Yeah, I don't know where I was going with that, but it's early prototype.
And so what do you think that you can make better on the 25 that you would hope finds its way into production in 2020X?
Yeah, I think there's some people that have had a complaint about, I think Kiefer called it Honda back or something like that, the rear of the chassis, kind of feeling harsh. Stability is always one we focus on. I think our engine has actually performed quite well. Like we've made it.
The engine's good, eh?
Yeah, really rideable, and we spent a lot of time on, making good FI map. All of our riders did a great job on that this year. So I don't think that we want to ruin that, but we also want to continue to improve that. But I think in all bikes, in general, stability, maneuverability, and chassis feel are kind of like
King.
Yeah.
Especially in the 450.
Yeah. For such a monster to get it to handle remotely like okay is kind of tough.
Man, the level that you guys have been able to get, and I mean you guys in terms of like just R&D in general for OEMs, the level that you can now turn a 450 is insane.
Yeah.
Like to actually, when I first started riding 450s, I think my first Honda 450 I had was it was either a 2010 or a 2012. I can't remember. Bro, I was little and I was not a good rider, but like zero lean angle.
Yeah.
Just felt absolutely in no way like I wanted to actually tip that bike over. They were just so like straight line machines. And now, I mean, whether it's my Yamaha or my Honda, like I just have so much more confidence and feel to lean and turn those bikes that was just not there before for me.
Yep. Yeah, no, that's especially with these big machines, like there's so much inertia happening that they just want to keep going.
Yeah.
And then to make it turn, you've got to remove some stability. And then all of a sudden you've got a bike that turns, but you
too scared to ride it in a straight
go
line.
in a straight line. And so we're trying to hit all those targets. We want to make a well-rounded bike in all categories, not one that just kind of like succeeds in one category.
Yeah. I was after Ethan was at your place, we were having a conversation about the Yamahas, and you kind of broke it down to him in terms I hadn't really thought of before. And we're actually making a video at the moment on the 250. We did like a 250 build. And there's a part in the video where we're like siphoning through the gears and the frame doesn't change.
Yeah.
And the way that you broke it down, I'd never thought of it before. When they switch to that backwards head design and the intake can come from the top, all of a sudden this whole rear of the motorcycle where the injectors and the air boot and everything had to like route around the shock, gone. That issue is just not, it's now a non-issue for them.
Yep.
They've landed on a chassis and the tweaks are so minor.
Yep.
I actually just did not realize how much of a game changer that was for Yamaha as a manufacturer in terms of like the way that they could develop the motorcycle in these last like 11 years.
And it took them that long. I mean, you remember when it first came out, it was a disaster.
Oink, oink.
Yeah, it was terrible. You know, there was like, it was this new like bike that was going to be awesome. And then for the next
poor James
5 years, I mean, it was like no one wanted to ride it.
Yeah.
But I applaud them. Like they stuck with it. They could have turned the thing back around and
just went back to what worked.
Back to what worked.
06 chassis, amazing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. But you know, they have a philosophy and they really believed in it. And so, I think it's paid dividends for them in big ways. And I mean, Yamaha, difficult to think about this on our side, but they're noisemakers, right? They make instruments. And so for them to be able to channel sound and flows and all that, that's kind of their specialty. So, yeah, I mean, it's to me. I mean, I could get lost in this stuff. Like,
Yeah.
it's fascinating to me, especially when you ride a bike and you're like, whoa, what did I just feel?
Yeah.
And then to try to understand that and put it all together. That's why this process has been so fun for me, because it's like you start to put two and two together, and you're like almost chasing the same feeling of riding good to like, does this thing feel good?
Yeah, and I mean, just the way you broke it down, I was like, dude, what these guys are thinking about and what they're having to think about for us to just get on and ride, it's just, there's so much that's going on and just variables. Like I feel like I know a fair bit about motorcycles, and I just hadn't had that thought, you know what I mean? As like, this is what they're dealing with. Like every design has limitations. Every choice you make robs Peter to pay Paul. You know, and it's like the sweet spot that you guys are trying to find every day when you're doing this is just crazy.
It's incredible. I mean, I learned a lot about it through this 25 development, because one of our keywords that we said a million times was rigidity balance. And when you think about the rigidity balance as a whole, you would think the way that we talked about the rigidity balance, that we were making 25, 50% changes. I mean, these are like 4%. You know, they're so small.
Yeah.
And the way that it changes the motorcycle, it's incredible. So it's just like, you're talking not a game of inches, a game of millimeters, you know, from the difference between an incredible bike to a difference between a okay bike or even a bad bike.
And for an American, a millimeter is a unit of measurement that actually makes sense. All right.
Have you seen what's that dude's name? It was on SNL. Oh, dude. It's George Washington. He's talking. They're like in the Revolutionary War.
No, I have
It's
not.
like, we're gonna win freedom, so we can measure things however we want. It's so
Dude,
good, it doesn't make sense.
And I'm just like, you know how crazy it is to like live in a place for most of my adult life, and I'm just like, I'm not even learning this.
No,
like,
I'm
I
not
refuse.
Either. Yeah, the little tape measure. I have the little cheater tape measure. You know, it's like this one's 7 3/8. It's like, because I don't know. They're like just squiggly lines that don't make any sense.
None of this makes sense. Let's make everything divisible by 1. And let's just run with that. Dude, isn't it insane that you guys just like put a flag in the ground and we're just, I feel like it speaks to like the American philosophy.
Oh, for sure.
And it's like,
this doesn't make a lot of sense, but we're going to run with it.
and everyone else is going to do it like us. And if they don't, they'll be damned.
Who cares?
And it kind of works. Oh,
It's like the concept of frozen yogurt. It's not quite ice cream, but it's just as good.
And you'll eat it and you'll like it.
And you can eat more of it because it's not as bad for you.
Yeah, and we're going to give it to you in like huge, gigantic tubs.
And we're going to weigh it in the standard way.
Yeah, and it's going to come in ounces. So you touched on the E. What was that experience like? You actually raced one of my good friends, Jay Wilson.
Yeah.
He rips, eh?
Yeah, dude, I was
Were you pleasantly surprised?
I was, yeah. No, I remember Taiichi Honda, who is kind of over HRC off-road kind of motocross, asked me like in January, hey, are you interested in racing?
His name's Honda?
Yeah.
And he works for Honda?
Yep.
Legend.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Imagine if he worked at Yamaha.
Yeah. It's pretty funny because one of our development team's guy's name is Takuya Suzuki.
I was going to say it's probably Suzuki.
We call him Suzuki. I mean, they say Suzuki-san. You know, it's kind of just odd for me. You know, it's like Smith here in America. But yeah, he was like, are you interested in doing this? And I'm like, yeah. I mean, I've raced in Japan before. Like,
what an amazing country.
Yeah, dude, incredible. Like, just the chance to go back there is like, sign me up, you know? and they gave me a decent bonus structure, and I'm thinking, yeah, dude, it'd be sick. I'll just go race this e-bike, maybe make some good money, and it'll be fun. Like, and then I started watching some videos and following some of the races. I'm like, dude, this guy kind of rips.
Yeah, then you ran into Jay Wilson.
Yeah. So yeah, no, that was I wasn't expecting that. I think that he really helped elevate the bike because I really had to push it. So unfortunately, we got together in the moto, and it fired me up. You know, like I think it was a racing incident. You know, he told me like, dude, I'm in the wrong here. Like, I made a bad decision. I didn't expect you to commit to that corner.
Well, and it's very hard on the e-bikes because you can't hear them.
With no sound.
I've been on the opposite end. I had a guy, I was like a guy, no, at Glen Helen, you know, you pull off after the finish. A guy was on the right-hand side of the track, bro, and just didn't hear me, and I'm wide open on my Stark, and the guy just cuts to get off the track and touched my front wheel, and I've gone like that, my front wheel full lock, like skidding. I put all my weight back and just didn't crash. And that's what happens on those. You can't hear them, you know?
Yeah. So yeah, when we got together, I was pretty fired up. So I was like, I'm going to smash this guy in the last moto, and smash myself. But I was riding great before that. But it was awesome, dude. I mean, the bike was fun. I think that Honda's going about it in the right way. You know, they're saying, hey, we want to create another category. We don't want to replace, which makes sense for their business model. Why would they shut out most of their motorcycle profit by trying to replace it? So, and there's so many years of development with mechanical engines that, like, the electric engines are just...
There's still something to.
Yeah.
You know, like, it's a thing.
Yeah.
To go and to ride to ride a motor, to burn some gas.
Yeah,
you know?
Exactly. So I think their idea of creating another category is great. There just was no way to race it at that point other than racing with the bikes. You know, I think we originally wanted to race it with the 250s just in the development, but the sanctioning body was like, no.
They're way too good.
Yeah, way too good. But
how does it compare to the Stark? Have you obviously would have ridden one of those?
I mean, it's the same in the ways of the characteristics, right?
Yeah.
Like, you'll hop on the 2 and kind of go like, okay, this is
the same sort of
thing. You know, kind of like selfishly, I think the Honda's better. Just there's so much time involved in the chassis development.
Yeah, I was going to say it's probably a lot of the frame.
It just feels like a race machine. And this isn't a put down on Stark, but when I've ridden the Stark, it feels really playful and fun and like all these exciting things, but it doesn't feel so much like a racing machine.
Yeah.
The CRE was like, it was a racer.
Yeah. A lot of comparable parts, all transferring over, chassis.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It was basically a CRF that was kind of like Frankenstein, you know? So, so there's just so many years of development in that. But the whole process was cool because it was so young. I mean, they had the Mugen that was kind of out that one of the Masuda, I think, had ridden at maybe one of the races for like a demo or something that we saw maybe in like 2016 or 17 or something.
Yeah.
So that was kind of the basis, but it had never really been put through the paces. So the first couple weeks was interesting. It was a lot, you know, like
big learning curve.
Riding it hard. I put that thing through some stuff. Had to push it back a few times. So, but the progress that it made in like 3 months blew my mind.
So how many trips did you do back and forward?
I did, I think 4 total.
Did you get to ride it here or it's only
there were, at that time, there was only like 3 or 4 of them. So
so cool, dude.
Yeah, and that part is
10-year-old Trey.
Crazy cute. Yeah, and it's all like, it's all machined, right? Like, it's none of it's cast. It's just looks trick. You know, it's a beautiful machine. And I think we would have been a lot better at Off-Road Village had we not had the rain that we had, because
yes, big difference.
I mean, I raced or did all the testing like on this table, so like all of our battery consumption, all of our endurance, all of our suspension was on like hard pack, because that traditionally that's what Off-Road Village was, and that's kind of why it was chosen for, it kind of gave us the best chance at the longevity part of it.
Yeah.
And then it's kind of like the lesser amount of strain as some of the other tracks. And
and you just get so much more speed
Yeah.
out of it as
Yeah.
well.
So, we had to, cut some power to make it last. So I would say it was probably like a 350 maybe.
Yeah.
Full
So
power,
Honda's making one of them.
full power for the start.
So you just said Honda's making a 350.
Oh yeah. It'll be out. Yeah, that's what Ruben raced. So yeah, no, it was the whole experience was incredible. I think we would have been more competitive if it was dry, but
Yeah.
I really struggled. The qualifying race was muddy, and I couldn't hear it, couldn't feel it.
Yeah.
There was a lot of things that in the ruts, I hadn't ridden it in ruts, like, was difficult. But the amount of time, I mean, I didn't ride it, I don't think, until September, and then I raced it at the end of October. So the amount of development in between that time was like, it blew my mind. Like, it was wild.
Do you have any indication of like how far away that would be for production?
I don't. I mean, that it's as a test rider, you don't get a lot of information.
Yeah, true way. You're on a need to know basis.
Even with this new prototype that Ruben raced, it's like, hey, thanks for the data. Like, we'll call you next time.
We'll see you soon.
In any information that you do get, it's kind of like you see it and then it's gone. You don't get to really keep anything or know any hard facts.
Which is probably good, because then you can't risk slipping up.
Yeah, and then for me, I'm personal contracted, right? So if I go to another brand next year, I mean,
I can't take
any of that information with me. So
Yeah.
So it's probably the smart way, and it's I've made the mistake with the 25 machine talking about it too much before it was out, because
You're a frother.
I'm a frother, I'm like talking about this new linkage and all this new theory, and they're like, hey,
Trey-san,
you can't talk about
shut
this.
up.
Yeah. The very nice, polite Japanese way.
Yeah. Trey, big mouth, cause problem.
Please stop now. Fired. So yeah, I can nerd out on it, and so it's probably, I've gotten better at just understanding what I can and can't talk about, and trying to dance those lines is especially like with this Ruben thing. There's obviously things I love about this bike and want to blab on about
from
forever,
the
but I'm just not going to, because it's the work of a lot of hard people that they want to kind of keep to themselves. So yeah, that's probably why.
Yeah, no, fair.
Yeah.
I mean, Japan, dude, how cool! Like,
Dude,
it's just the best country.
I just had some weird flashbacks today. I'm like, dude, I just want to go back to Japan.
I think I'm going to do a trip at some point this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it, man.
Yeah.
There's something about the culture is just, I don't know. Everyone's so polite. It's wild. Like, I remember, like my first trip there, I was a little bit like, are these people kind of rude? Because we were walking through this Kumamoto city, and being from Oklahoma, it's like everyone you see, you kind of go like, hey man, like everyone's always waving.
What's happening, brother?
Hey brother, how's your mom and them? It's like just normal, to like make eye contact. And so I was walking down the street and I was like making eye contact with people, and they're kind of like,
yeah.
And I'm like, whoa, are these people like not friendly? But that's just not. It's just their culture.
Yeah. So crazy to really understand how different cultures are.
Yep.
Like, dude, my wife, for 4 years of knowing her, I was like, you mad at me? We good?
Yeah.
Okay, you don't look happy.
Are you sure?
You look like you hate me. She's like, I love you. Like, you're awesome.
This is my face.
Yeah, but it's like, there's literally a saying in Russia, to smile without a reason is for a fool.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's just like a full cultural thing. And it's like, and Japan, same.
Yeah.
Don't be loud on a train.
Yeah.
There's
Don't
just
talk in the elevator.
Yeah, there's
like,
all these cultural things.
Yep.
But once you like embrace and accept, you
Yep.
can just see like, dude, this is wild, and it's amazing for like certain things.
I think this is pretty common for people to notice, but it's just clean. Like, and no trash cans. I don't understand where all the trash goes. It's like
You put it in your pocket or your bag and you take it home
I don't-
and then you dispose of it properly.
it's just gone. It's
Yeah.
like you're walking through like this busy city and there's just no trash, which is incredible. But
And the food.
so good, man. I've eaten some things like I'm not sure I'll eat again, but were exciting.
What'd you eat?
Basashi is probably like the craziest thing.
What's basashi?
It's horse. It's raw horse. It's like sashimi. Horse.
Yeah.
But,
You want to eat it again?
Yeah, I'll eat it again. Yeah, it's just I'm definitely would be my first pick.
First go-to.
But I had to eat it.
Yeah.
But my family was like borderline mad at me, like from Oklahoma. You know,
Yeah,
like,
true, eh?
Horses are friends,
Yes.
not food. But yeah, that was pretty wild, dude. All of the like the ramen and
Have you had fisheye soup?
no,
That's a weird one.
yeah,
Just like, it's just like, those starbursts?
yeah.
That's like kind of like a little
Yeah.
little chewy crust, and then you just break through, and it's just all gooey on the inside.
Some of the texture is hard.
Yeah.
Like there was a lot of like intestine, like chicken grizzle cartilage that you just kind of crunch on.
Yeah, yeah,
That was pretty tough for me.
yeah. I can't do the cartilage.
Yeah.
Dude, my wife eats a lot. Of
Really,
dude loves it,
I
man.
could hear the crunch like audibly with my ear, and that
Yeah.
was intense.
Yeah,
Yeah, sushi though, so good, man.
yeah, and ramen too,
Yeah,
bro.
ramen.
Oh.
Yeah, I really like soba, like that whole setup. And then there's one called sugiyaki. It's like it's kind of like shabu shabu. It's like a pot of like broth,
Oh, yeah,
and you cook meat in it, and you eat with
Yep.
like a raw egg. It's like
yeah.
always left the like 3-hour dinners like.
Oh
just-
man, it's the best.
Yeah,
eh?
it's awesome.
Do you have any trips coming up there?
Not right now.
Okay.
No. Yeah, we'll see after the podcast.
Yeah, no, they'll want you back. I love Japanese culture. I love Japan, and I've been thinking about this a little bit over the last couple years. Here, especially, is like there's just such a massive disconnect.
Yeah.
Like we don't, and it's almost sad in a way that we, for the most part, all ride these Japanese machines.
Yeah.
But there's no connection
Yeah.
to Japan.
Yep.
And I feel like we're losing something.
Yeah.
You know,
100%.
like, and that's the way they are. Like it's so about the machine, and it's about like they're not after that validation, and they're not chasing that
Yep.
connection. But I mean, after being in Japan, and like Taka is like such a great friend of
Yep.
mine, and like you know we're missing a lot
Yeah.
of this culture, and I wish that there wasn't the disconnect
Yep.
that there is in a way. I don't know whether that's a thing that we fix, or I don't know how that works.
I don't know. It's so cool to see their teams work together. And it's kind of like the culture of Japan, right?
In
Like,
general,
it's
yeah.
like we're very proud to be Japanese, and we want to see the greater good of Japan like succeed and their well-being be high. And it's like, you go to the offices, no one has an office at Honda. It's like all cubicles, and that's like straight from Mr. Honda. But it's just that's the kind of like the philosophy, you
Yeah.
know? You all go to a cafeteria for lunch. You're all dressed the same. I don't know. There's just like this kind of commonality that's like we're in this together. And I sense that from the development team. Like they want to do well, and they want to do it together. And it's like, I don't know, it's really cool. Like it's so different from US, where it's like, I did this,
Yeah.
look what I did.
Yeah.
It's like very much like we did this together kind of thing. And
Yeah.
I love that. I think it's so special.
Yeah, couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
And how amazing was it to have all of the team at Redbud, and then to just have such a great weekend. And I personally love Joe just as a person.
Yeah.
He's amazing. But I also, for the sport, I love that we have a Japanese
Yeah.
representative riding a Japanese brand. Like
Yeah.
there was talk of him riding Husky
Oh,
next year, and
no,
I'm
yeah.
like, if that happens, I fucking quit. All right, you never see me again. If that boy steps foot on something other than a Japanese motorcycle, you've all failed. So we have something very special in Joe as well. And I don't even know how many of us know we have something as special as what we do.
Yeah, and I agree on the whole disconnect thing. It's like, and to see how much the Japanese love motocross, it's wild, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, they live for it. Like one of our development guys, Haiden, he like wakes up super early to watch MXGP, and then it's like his whole Sunday is like just motocross, and then he goes Monday to Friday and just rides and tests and sits in meetings about motocross. It's like he lives for it, loves it.
Oh, dude, and Tucker's the same.
Yeah.
He'll call me at all hours of every day about anything dirt bike related,
Yeah.
and he's like in his 40s, test rider, the whole test rider for Showa, test rider for Cowie, like just full send moto 24/7.
Yeah.
Absolutely, loves it.
They love it, man. It's really cool to see. And that's when I was there over a weekend. It was like cool. Like one of the weekends, I just wanted to see the track that I was gonna race, and went there. It was unique to see people in Japan doing what we do in a weekend. You know, it's like there's a disconnect of who the Japanese are, what they do, and it's like, no, they love motorcycles, if not more than us. You know, and it was just.
Oh, and we have so much to thank them for.
Yeah.
You know, like everything that they've done, like to get motocross and supercross motorcycles to the point that they did.
Yep.
You know, before, obviously KTM has been amazing and, you know, like that, but that came a lot later, you know, like that was built off the back of these 4 manufacturers that just, and it's like the smallest part of all their businesses.
I know, that's what's wild.
Like Yamaha would make hundreds of millions of dollars more on pianos and keyboards than they would on Supercross.
But
you know?
they want to develop this. But I mean,
yeah.
it's the same with Honda, right? It's like
all of them. They're all like that.
They love motocross.
Yeah.
And they love, Honda Dakar. I mean, they're just these certain things that are the true heartbeat of the company.
Yeah, it's like in their DNA.
It is in their DNA, and there's a lot of pride in it, and they really want to succeed at it. And I'm just grateful that they allow me to go when they do, because they don't have to use me. You know, they don't have to use our American test riders, but they allow us in the process, and I'm just like so grateful for it.
Yeah. Trey Canard, it's been 4 hours, almost 4 hours, and I got to let you go, unfortunately.
Cool.
I could do this with you for days, mate. But thanks for making the time. Thanks for coming on again. Anything you want to shout out? Anything you got going on? Anything you want to point people to?
Maybe the YouTube. I don't know.
Yeah,
Trey Canard
yeah.
Official. Like, subscribe, comment. I'm trying to learn all that. Like, all the lingo. Yeah, the stuff.
Kids are saying.
Yeah, the influencers. That's me. That's why I grew this cool mustache. No, Trey Canard Official. Just started TikTok. Talked about that.
Yeah.
So, trying to have fun with that.
All for One podcast.
All for One podcast. It's on the YouTube channel.
Yeah. Is it on Spotify, iTunes, all that?
As soon as we get enough episodes, we'll throw it up.
What do you mean enough episodes?
Do we need?
No.
I think right now we have 8.
Put it up.
Is that enough?
Yeah.
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 All right.
Let's do this again too at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is always, dude, such a good time. You were one of my favorite races before I moved to America and before I did all that. I was at Pilot 2010 when you won the championship. I was at Dodger Stadium when you had your little incident. Like I've always followed your career. I feel like I was there for a lot of it before I knew you, and it like kind of changes the vibe a little bit when you're like, when you know, but I really got to be a legitimate fan of you.
Thanks.
For so long. And like, dude, I remember we were at Elsinore one day and like you were packing up, ready to go, and you were like just about to get in your rental car and I stopped you so you could get a photo with my dad. Like, you've just always been the best, dude. And then when you actually do get to know you as a person, you end up being better than the guy that you thought, you know, and that's not always the case. So I really appreciate it, mate. You're a legend.
That. Yeah, thank you. Just talk to my wife. She'll tell you all the bad stuff.
Same for mine, mate. Check it out, everybody. And stay tuned for part 3 at some point in the future.
Yeah, let's do it.
If you enjoyed this content, please like and subscribe. And to listen to the full 3-hour podcast, search Gypsy Tales in your favorite podcast platform or click the link in the description below. Gypsy Gang.